Good morning. Will the Housing Land Use Committee meeting of May 20th, 2026 please come to order? It is 9:05 a.m. Members, I am the chair of this committee, Nohelani Uuhajins. In accordance with the Sunshine Law, please identify by name who, if anyone, is in the room, vehicle, workspace with you today. Minors do not need to be identified. Let's begin our good mornings with Committee Vice Chair Kaunoy Batangan. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Morning, members.
Good morning. Member Cook, good morning.
Aloha, good morning.
Member Johnson, good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Council members, community members. There's no testifiers at the Lanai District Office, and I'm here and ready to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Lee, good morning.
Good morning. Aloha kako.
Aloha. Councilmember Paulton will be joining us shortly. She's en route. I will say good morning to her when she arrives. Same for Member Rollins Fernandez. I believe she should be joining us shortly. So we'll go over to Member Senensi. Good morning.
Aloha, good morning, Chair.
Good morning. And Member Sugimura should be joining us shortly as well. From the administration, we have Planning Director Jackie Takakura. We have the current Division Administrator, Danny Diaz. Do we see Public Works Director on? Okay, maybe he'll join us shortly. We also will have with us Captain Voss with the Fire Department, and we have Deputy Corporation Counsel Nunakawa. We also have with us our HLU committee staff. For the first item on the agenda, I have invited these fine gentlemen in front of us. We have Mr. Calvert Chipchase and Keola Whitaker of Kays and Shuddy, and Mr. Matthew Nakamoto, Senior Planner at PBR Hawaii and Associates Incorporated. And if there are no objections, I would like to designate these individuals as resources under Rule 18A of Rules of the Council because of their expertise on the proposed EC Paia Town project.
No objections.
Thank you so much. Please see the last page of the agenda for information on meeting connectivity, and let's proceed with testimony for the beginning of the meeting. Testifiers wanting to provide testimony should sign up in the lobby or join on the online meeting via Teams link or call into the phone number noted on today's agenda. Written testimony is encouraged and can be submitted via the e-comment link at mauicounty.us/agendas as well. For individuals wishing to testify via Teams, please raise your hand by clicking on the Raise Your Hand button. If calling in, please follow the prompts via phone *5 to raise and lower your hand and *6 to mute and unmute. Staff will add names to the testifier list in the order the testifiers sign up or raise their hands. For those on Teams, staff will lower your hand once your name is added. Excuse me. Staff will then call your name you're logged in under or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your time to testify. At that time, staff will also enable your microphone and video. Please ensure your name appears in Microsoft Teams as a name you prefer to be referred as or as anonymous if you wish to testify anonymously. If you are in person, please tell the staff if you would like to testify anonymously. Otherwise, please state your name for the record at the beginning of your testimony. Oral testimony is limited to 3 minutes, and if you are still testifying beyond that time, I will kindly ask you to complete your testimony. Once you are done testifying or you do not wish to testify, you can also view the meeting on Akaku Channel 53, Facebook Live, or mauicounty.us/agendas. And we will do our best to take up each person in an orderly fashion. And right now, we will call on the testifiers wishing to testify at the beginning of the meeting. Staff, if you could please call our first testifier. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. The first testifier is Francine Arona, to be followed by Dano Salas.
Okay. Aloha, everyone. Chair Uuhajins, council members. For the record, I'm Francine Arona, also known as Anti-Mopsy Protect Paia. Mahalo for allowing me to share my mana'o regarding Resolution 26-84. Mahalo to Cal Chipchase, Sam Harbud, and all the committee members over there in reaching out to the community in their proposal to bring growth to Paia. I am for growth, but smart growth. As a caretaker of our Paia Hale, I've witnessed the lush open ag land driving home every day. My kuleana of 26 years, I've seen many changes to our historical town. The historical town that once had Ikeda store, Nagata store, and all the other stores that are no longer there. Yeah. I hope that Keakua will allow me to witness that growth for our people. Ohana that struggle to remain here on Maui, and also to allow me to be a part of the process so that our community will understand what can and what cannot be done in this growth. I support Resolution 2684. And Sam and Kel, forgive me for first name acknowledgements, knows that I will hold them accountable in the process of approvals for all that they need to do for our community, for Paia. I appreciate Sam's willingness to bring life to Paia. Many think that because I'm anti-MOPSI Protect Paia that I would be against moving forward with this item. I believe in growth. I want to see what happens in Paia. Our children, their children, my greats, they're not going to be around because there's nothing there for them. And we have to start somewhere. Yeah. I have to protect, but be nice about it in providing growth for Paia. Yes, we've been so fortunate. But the town will remain the town. We're glad for that. And I live on the shoreline, and we talk about shore retrievement. Kanaloa has been good to me. And when I have to go, then I'll go. The ocean will dictate to me. But right now, I'm a lucky, lucky guy. So mahalo for allowing me to share my mana'o with you. Good luck, team. But like I said, I'll be with you every step of the way. And if you get out of line, I'll call you on the carpet. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Auntie. Members, before she leaves, does anybody have any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you, Auntie, for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Dano Salas, to be followed by April Soretsky.
Sounds good. Aloha.
Aloha, Chair. Aloha,
You can move the
Council members.
microphone up to you if you'd like, then you don't have to bend over. Good.
Okay, thank
I
you.
hope that's more comfortable.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to testify this morning on something that is near and dear to my heart. I've had the privilege of serving Maui County for 42 years with helping people with their housing needs. I watched Kehalani from the very beginning in 1984 and was on the launch team of Kaimanu and then Halimalu and then Nanea. And on these days, when I drive through those neighborhoods, I still see families welcoming. On the holidays, I take my grandson trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. And one of the owners said, "Thank you so much for selling me this house. It's actually helped me provide equity to get loans for my kids to go through schools." I raised my children on the North Shore of Maui, and now 2 of my boys are raising my grandsons on the North Shore of Maui. I've actually had the privilege of knowing Sam and the Herbod family now for over a decade. And when I spoke to Sam early on about this particular neighborhood, he says, "I'm really never an owner of a piece of property. I'm a steward of the land. And with the stewardship of this land, I promise to do the people of Maui proud because I've actually been gifted so many opportunities on this beautiful island." So as I gather with Sam and my sons and Sam and his sons, we talk about the future of Paia and what that will look like. We're in desperate need of housing for the people of Maui. Also, we need more medical facilities, other options for shopping, the plans for kids playing soccer and baseball in new fields, This is something that really warms my heart. My kids loved around the fields, and I sold my in-laws a home in Kuau Bayview in 1999 that's still in our family. So we have an opportunity for multi-generational ownership. Going over there now and walking to town is something that I really enjoy doing. Our family has been blessed, and one of the highest and best use for me is helping other families on Maui with their housing. I've had the privilege of working with some incredible home builders over the days, people like Jesse Spencer, whose actually purpose was to provide affordable housing and for people to move in with equity. I worked with Mr. Joe Zilber of Town Realty, you know, some real legends in the industry. And I see Sam as the next future of that, of helping people on Maui with their housing needs. So I totally support this particular proposal, and thank you for allowing me to share today.
Thank you. Members, any clarifying questions? Thank you very much for your testimony. Staff, before we call the next testifier, excuse me, I'd like to acknowledge Member Paulton. Good morning.
Aloha Sakayaka Kako, streaming live and direct from Honolulu International Airport, where there's a public place for people with a ticket, and there's choke folks around, and I don't know anybody's name. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Paulton. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Safe travels. For the record, Member Sugimura is excused for this meeting, so she will not be joining us. But staff, please call the next testifier.
Thanks, Chair. The next testifier is April Soretsky, to be followed by Andrea Rogers.
Aloha, good morning. My name is April Soretsky. Good morning. Aloha Chair, Council, and committee members. I strongly oppose 26-84 and the proposed expansion and redevelopment of Paia Town. Paia is one of the few places on Maui that still feels like old Maui, small, local, and community-centered. That charm and small-town character are exactly why so many residents and visitors love it. I find it concerning that the proposal repeatedly references preserving small-town character, while the actual plans include approximately 200 residential units, expanded commercial uses, heavy industrial allowances, and major infrastructure. True small-town character is not preserved simply through architectural design. It is preserved through scale, traffic levels, infrastructure, capacity, and the overall feel of a community. And this proposal feels very much at odds with the character it claims to protect. I'm also concerned because this project is driven by off-island developers who have no ties to the community and, let's face it, only care about their profit. Paia is not simply a development opportunity on a map. It is a unique and historic Maui community. Once the character of Paia is lost, we do not get it back. I respectfully urge you to listen carefully to the concerns of the local community and prioritize preserving the identity and integrity of Paia for future generations. Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony. Chair Lee, does anybody else after Chair Lee have any questions? Okay, Member Paulton, I see her.
Just a quick question. Do you live in Paia?
Not anymore, but I used to.
You live on Maui?
Yeah. I live in Pukalani now, but
Okay.
I lived there for over 10 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member Paulton? Sorry, we have one more question for you.
Thank you. I think Mrs. Seletsky. My question was, when I read over the documents that were posted, it said that it was converting, I think, community plan heavy industrial to something else. So I wanted to clarify what the heavy industrial that you referred to was that I guess I missed.
That's what I read in the 45-page proposal, that there was heavy industrial usage. I may be mistaken. This was just brought to my attention yesterday, so I very quickly tried to read everything I could.
Okay. What I read, I thought was that it was converting what was heavy industrial in the community plan to some other community plan usage, but I'll try to ask the question. Hopefully I'll be there when the presentation or the discussion is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you so much, members. Any other questions before she leaves? Thank you so much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Yes, Chair. The next testifier is Andrea Rogers, to be followed by Payne Miatoga III.
Aloha, members, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Andrea Rogers, and I am a 36-year Maui resident, and I have been a homeowner in Lower Paia for 25 years. This is the letter that came certified mail that does discuss industrial as well as commercial development. In case there's any question, it came to my house yesterday, 2 days ago. I strongly oppose this. As a Lower Paia resident, I want to tell you the local community in Lower Paia does not support this. This does not mean we don't support smart development. I absolutely support the zoning change at the Paia Mill. I think that's smart development. Changing and transforming the entire face of Lower Paia, less than 3 years after we lost the last historical town of Lahaina, which I also lived in for a while, is heartbreaking to me, because this will basically, if you allow zoning changes, the man that bought the 85 acres paid $4 million to get 85 acres of ag land. In a time of food security, he should be forced to use that land to grow vegetables and continue food security, not create 34 out of 300 homes for workforce housing while they put lots on that 40 acres for rich people to be across the road from Paia Bay. There was a time when Kalama Park had a beautiful beach, and through not having smart development, we've killed the reef, and it's not really swimmable anymore. If you double the size of Paia, you will do irreparable damage to Paia Bay and probably to Baldwin Beach as well. Beyond that, Paia at this point is the last traditional coastal historic town on the island of Maui. We lost Lahaina, and we're all still grieving and trying to process what happened. It's the wrong time to do this in Paia. Let Paia be small, historical, and find other places to build workforce housing and regular housing that isn't in the entrance to Paia. I'm going to tell you, 30-something years ago, I had an opportunity to visit the town of Pahoa on the Big Island. It was a cute little downtown town with coffee shops, art galleries, had a lot of charm. And of course, it was never Paia because it wasn't coastal and it was much smaller, but it had charm. I went back 25 years later, and I couldn't find the town of Pahoa. They built a 4-lane highway and a strip mall with a grocery store, and of course it appeared more convenient, but I literally could not find the town. And I kept telling my husband, there's this cute little downtown area. And when we finally found it behind the strip mall, does it sound familiar? Behind the strip mall, that's what you're planning to do to Paia. There was nothing that left there except for boarded up buildings and drug addicts, and it wasn't there anymore. And that is what I believe will happen to the downtown area of Paia if you allow this level of development. So please, please, the best way to stop this is don't allow zoning change and encourage the man that spent $4 million on 85 acres to grow food, not a town. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any clarifying questions besides Member Cook and then Member Batonga?
Thank you for your testimony. My clarifying question, are you supportive of the bypass?
Oh, can you speak up? Sorry.
Are you supportive of the bypass?
The 4-lane bypass?
Well, no, the Paia bypass that's planned and it's in flux is exactly what. I'm just saying, like, your perspective, I'm asking clarifying question, your perspective of, quote, preserving the town does increasing building the bypass to mitigate the traffic that currently exists?
I don't think there's a need for more bypass than there is. In the event you do build hundreds of more houses up above Skill Village, for example, it's probably something that needs to be looked at, but it's not relevant in my mind to building a town on the Kahului side of Paia, building a new town.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Cook. Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. So part of your testimony is that this is not the appropriate
Oh,
time.
can you speak up? Sorry.
Part of your testimony was that this is not the appropriate time to be building more housing in Paia. When do you think the appropriate time would be?
Well, I absolutely don't think 3 years after we lost Lahaina Town, because Paia, living in Paia, we make a joke now. When I moved to Paia, there was no stop light in Paia. I moved to Maui the week they got rid of the stop sign in Paia, okay? That dates when I got to Paia. And to answer your question, we've become like a mini Lahaina since Lahaina burned. Now there's 20 tourists crossing the road. And do we love it? Maybe not, but people need to find their soul and remember Old Town Maui, Old Town downtown. And there's nothing else left on this entire island that even remotely replicates what Lahaina was to this island. Please don't destroy it. You will destroy it if you build double the size of the town on the Kahului side of the bypass. You will be Pahoa all over again.
Member Cook, your hand is still up. Do you have any more questions, or you're done?
That was it. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Chair.
thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next testifier, please.
Chair, yes, the next testifier is Pane Miatoga III, to be followed by Lauren Bickley.
Aloha, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Pane Miatoga III. I'm the Political Deputy Director for Operating Engineers Local 3, representing our members here on Maui. The resolution asks the council to do something that is pretty straightforward. Refer a project to the Planning Commission that is already consistent with the plan the council has adopted. The Maui Island Plan designated this exact site, the Paia expansion area, as the planned growth area. It called for compact, mixed-use development with housing, neighborhoods serving commercial uses, and a medical clinic. EC Paia delivers all of that. The applicant is not asking the county to bend its rules, it's asking the county to follow through on its vision. Paia will remain Paia. This project sits on the western edge of the town. This, the historic core, the shops, the restaurants, the surf culture along the Hana Highway, that's untouched. The project will be designated to the Paia Haiku Community Plan guidelines, reflecting the small town character with its community values. Maui's in a housing crisis, healthcare access problem, and a child care shortage. Project addresses all three of these things in the right land, on the right location. So I urge the council to support this resolution 2684. On a personal note, as having my great-grandfather born in the camps in Paia and still having family there that I've talked to, they're very excited about this. I have a lot of cousins that have had to move out of Paia over the generations to Maui or here on Oahu. And they're excited that they can have a community that's filled with locals. Thank you.
Mahalo, Mr. Miatoga. Any clarifying questions for him? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Yes, Chair, the next testifier is Lauren Bickley, to be followed by Lahela Kaiwohi. Apologies if I mispronounced your name.
Aloha, council members. My name is Lauren Bickley. I am a Paia resident. I live on the corner of Baldwin Avenue and Panini Place. We are a working family where we're raising our two small daughters in our neighborhood. I strongly oppose Resolution 26-84 for a number of reasons, and I ask you at this time to not move forward any changes and proposed changes for land use redesignation. I've heard other testifiers talk about neighborhoods. There's a neighborhood here already. And I only received information. I'm glad the developer has reached out to some community members. I live directly on Baldwin Avenue. I did not hear about this proposed changes in this proposed project until last week in a letter. And I emailed the developer. He did answer and respond last night where I saw the actual proposed map. So I ask you to please take a look at that map where the actual land use designation changes are proposed. And if you notice, it actually takes Paia Town and stretches at Mauka, which is directly across from our neighborhoods that stretch from the mini bypass up to about Pony Place right now. And we have a tight-knit, thriving community. When I opened my window this morning, looking out over Baldwin Avenue, the first thing I see is Komohana. And that is now on this proposal would be businesses, coffee shops, more restaurants, places for visitors. That's not what we want to see in this area. And it's a very high density growth that they propose apartments, expanding the bypass, and shifting what we know as PIA now. So I'm really frustrated to know that as a resident that would be directly impacted by this, I'm just now getting information about this, and not really having time to sit down and discuss this more. I do not think that you guys should be moving forward land use changes that are so significant. This is not simply heavy industrial to light industrial. This is a significant shift from ag land and what is currently in the Paia Haiku Community Plan. I do not think that we should be moving forward any types of land use changes until we've done a comprehensive update of the Paia Haiku Community Plan and taken a look at this comprehensively instead of piecemeal. Because this developer owns this 40 acres and the additional 300 acres next to this. So what's to say they get this amendment and then decide to put in and change for the next 300 acres and the next and the next. And all of a sudden we know what happened and the significant shift. So there's the Paia Mill redevelopment, and there's also a 9-acre open parcel that's already zoned business that's next to the post office. I think we look at these projects and these infield projects first before we start expanding the town and changing significantly from agriculture to these significant land use changes. Mahalo.
Perfect timing. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Ms. Iwohi?
Aloha Chair, Council, and Council. My name is Lehala Iwohi. I am part of this, the project team, but I'm also a citizen of Maui, resident of Maui, born and raised, and went to school, came back. Fortunately, I qualified for Department of Hawaiian Homelands, so I'm fortunate to live up in Waiahuli. I have nieces and nephews that don't. So when I hear people talk about not here, not now, this is not the right time, it does hurt. It hurts because I have nephews that moved away with college graduates, but they can't afford to live here. I have my nieces that are currently in college, or a couple of them, some two actually getting their MD, but both of them not planning on moving back home right away because they can't afford it. So when I hear this not in my backyard and comparing it to towns, to different towns in Hawaii, it really impacts me. So I appreciate that you're here to testify. But when I working on this project, working with Sam, who is a developer, Sam Herbot, I found that he really does care about the community. He cares about Maui. He took every suggestion that we met with, and we didn't go door to door. We didn't have a big community meeting, but our priority was meeting with generational families that was born and raised in Paia, continue to live there, have mo'opuna, have their own keiki, and they're unable to live or continue to live in Paia. They have to find homes elsewhere. Luckily, we do have Department of Hawaiian Homelands, because if you are 50% Hawaiian, they are fortunate enough to have that. But for our future generations, we're talking about this is a plan that is going to take at least 10 years to even break ground. So when we look at this, 10 years from now, we will see more people moving to Hawaii, and guess what? Our local people will be moving out. That's what I would like to avoid. So I support this project not because I'm part of the project team. I'm speaking on behalf of just a Maui resident. And I support this project 100% because I want to see my nieces and nephews, my friends' kids, being able to return home when they graduate from college or when they continue their education elsewhere, continue their workforce, whatever it may be. I want them to be back on Maui so that we can maintain our culture in the island that I grew up in. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. Iwohi. Any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. I do see that we have somebody's hand up. Do we have anybody else signed up?
Yes,
Okay, please call the next.
Yes, before them we have Renee S. to be followed by Ke Apuhuni ko Hawaii Pai Aina. Renee, we have promoted you. You may need to unmute your camera and mic. You should see icons on the top right hand of your screen, and if there's a line through them, you have to click on it to unmute yourself.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And thank you for letting me have this opportunity. I don't want to repeat everything that everybody's always said. I'm not a huge proponent of this. The way it sounds that it's laid out, I'm never against growth. For the record, I've been in resident in Paia for almost 13 years now. But when I've seen growth, even on the mainland, before I transplanted here, I am a transplant. But often when strip malls go up, the rent and the leases are so high on it, it's really hard for local businesses to even try and thrive. And if they do, they often don't make it past 6 months and they have to close. And then these strip malls remain vacant for a good 5 to 10 years before they can even get a renter in there that can afford the rent and have the traffic and income to keep it going. And I see in Paia that there's already empty buildings. And I do know that some of the boutiques and stuff that are already in Paia struggle. So I'm very concerned how this could be an impact on Paia, especially if those shops are the first shops that people see when they come to town. It's kind of one of the other ladies who spoke compared it to a small town on the Big Island. And that is very concerning for me. Basically, I'm just here to give support and say that I'm not a huge proponent. I'm against this as it's written today. And also, I just found out about this last night too. So I haven't even read the 45-page document. I was given very little information on this. So I think the community definitely needs to be updated because there was nothing in my mailbox saying that this was a potential thing coming up. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you very much. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. I see you, Member Paulton. I know you're going to take off in a little bit. Is the presentation online for her to see it later and for others? Okay, thank you. Member Paulton, I saw that you turned your camera off, but just FYI, the presentation is online. Thank you.
Chair, the currently last individual signed up to testify is K. Apuni ko Hawaii Pai Aina.
Aloha. This is Keopuni ko Hawaii Pai Aina.
Aloha.
And I heard the lady over talking before the person that had talked before the last person who had talked. Working with the developer and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. And like, so how are you guys gonna be changing the zoning and stuff like that? Because the royal patent is supposed to be showing right inside the TMK's legal information, but it's showing like a haole name, which is not supposed to have a haole name. There's supposed to be a Hawaiian name because the haole's got fee simple, so it expires when, yeah. So where's the original royal patent? Who owns that original royal patent? Because we haven't got contacted, and I'm pretty sure it's like illegally operating and building and developing on lands, right? When trying to put all these Hawaiians inside a building, Hawaiian in quotation, but Kanaka anyway, in the buildings, and it's all their allodial titled royal patented lands. I don't think that would be a possible. That's not a. I don't think that would help our community anyway. As a resident of the Kingdom of Hawaii, in this country, in its meets and bounds, they shouldn't be placed in buildings. They should be placed back on their lands, which is illegally being operated and built on, which is illegal on an international level, building on royal patented allodial title lands that's made by the Kingdom of the Hawaiian Islands. So, yeah, and call up the correct heirs also. I'm pretty sure that's Crown lands all over there, all the sugar lands. I'm guessing it is because Paia, yeah. Yeah, it is in the wrong holder. That is an illegal owner and a fake royal patent that they putting for public knowledge. So please, if you guys could change the TMK legal info because many of them are being changed again illegally because it's supposed to show a royal patent, the allodial title, the true title, and yeah. Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you. Staff, can you please call the next testifier?
Yes, Chair. The next testifier is Junior Nakoa, to be followed by Lori Nielsen.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Long time no see you buggers. I just got called about this issue, yeah. Well, what I've been doing lately, yeah, is doing some community liaison work, yeah. I'm actually having the community be able to voice a lot of opinions and inputs of all these kind of projects that's happening here in Lahaina. Yeah, so I'm doing Lahaina projects, yeah. And this person coming from Paia told me to jump on top here to listen, and I will listen small kind. I never read the project. I never hear nothing about this, and I think that's the frustration that this community is having because they don't know nothing. They don't know what's going to happen in their backyard. They don't know the details. I don't think some of them got the input. Well, what I have been doing for projects on Kaanapali, one housing project coming up on the countryside, going to happen here in Napili. The developer, you guys know their buggers, they're good. Ikaiko Ohana will hire me to be a community liaison of getting information from my community. I already get 8 meetings set up already in June. And this project is not even anywhere close to being developed. Okay? These guys are doing it the right way. Why Paia people don't get that opportunity to put this input before you guys go there and start shoveling and making big noise and all that stuff? And then we gotta come over there and scrap you guys at these meetings. Yeah? Because this is why we in one housing crisis. Yeah? Because you guys go ass backwards in this thing. And then we get the project shoved down our throat. And then we gotta fight you guys, yeah? When we should be all working together before you guys submit you guys permits and coming to the planning commission, coming to the county council, coming to all of this. Yeah, it's gonna even save the developer money. Yeah? So that is my frustration. I'm gonna make sure that everybody don't get carried away that, just because we got Lahaina gonna get water, that we're gonna overbuild and build stupid kind of projects. We gotta stop doing the 75% market for build the 25%. Yeah, we gotta stop building those kinds of projects. We gotta build the kind of project that's gonna be for the locals. In perpetuity, affordable. Having our let the residency be the key point of getting qualified for these projects. So we really can take care of the real, I'm almost finished.
Okay.
The real residents, mahalo, sorry. The real residents of Maui. Okay, guys? I get choked transplants, Ohana and friends. But please, take care of the guys that was here a long time.
Thank you, Mr. Nakoa. But wait, hold on.
You guys,
Pao, your 3 minutes, but can you do me a favor? My auntie and my grandma watches this. They are also from Paia. They had meetings with us, the people proposing the project, but they're very churchgoers. Can you do me a favor and not swear?
Oh, did I swear? My
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, just small kind, but just next time, please.
Oh, automatic. My bad.
Thank you.
I don't know. I swear.
That's okay.
I
I appreciate it. You heard me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So all of the. Okay, let me go.
Okay, you
Again,
can have
sorry that
about
the
10 more
person from
seconds
Paia-
to wrap up because the bell did ring, okay?
The person that would call me for today was from Paia, so my bad. I'm just
Okay.
responding on.
No, that's okay.
Response. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any clarifying questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Nakoa. Thank you. Next testifier, please.
Yes, Chair. The next testifier is Lori Nielsen, to be followed by Max Tournay.
Aloha, everybody. Good morning from West Maui.
Aloha.
I won't be turning on my video just because I don't want to be filmed right now, but I am here in spirit. My testimony is aloha, Chair and members of the Housing and Land Use Committee. My name is Lori Betzel, and I am a Maui County resident. I am respectfully asking this committee to allow for additional community meetings in Paia before this project moves any further through county channels. As a resident of Lahaina, who was present on August 8th, 2023, and who understands firsthand the impact of the fires and what they did to both Lahaina and Kula, I believe the people of Maui are exhausted by decisions that feel predetermined before the community is ever fully heard. RIA's residents deserve more than 2 minutes at a microphone during a county meeting. It sounds like a lot of people got last-minute notices, while the county and developers and government officials drive these conversations behind the scenes. Paia is one of Maui's last remaining historic coastal towns. Its identity, charm, culture, and small town character, just like Lahaina, matter. I believe Maui County needs thoughtful development partners, as Mr. Nakoa shared, Tom Fisher, Ikaika Ohana. These types of developers, they should not be treated as enemies. And from my understanding, the proposed Heritage Hall project is intended to honor the Portuguese and Puerto Rican immigrant families whose contributions helped shape Maui's plantation history and community identity. There is currently very little on Maui that meaningfully recognizes these cultural heritages. The proposal also appears intended to complement the architectural character of Paia Town while creating critical community gathering space, which could be public meeting facilities also, and office space that could benefit residents and local organizations. This is exactly why transparency and meaningful public engagement matter. I'm not saying I'm against this. I am for development. But the people of Paia deserve the opportunity to sit down in a real community forum and ask direct questions. As Maui residents, many of us are mentally and emotionally exhausted. Too often it feels as though our communities are being negotiated between government while local voices are treated as an afterthought. Please remember that these islands belong to us. We are raising our families here, we are working here, and every day trying to preserve the Aina. Development should serve the community and not the other way around. I respectfully ask this committee to require, thank you, I respectfully ask this committee to require additional community engagement before advancing this project further. If additional meetings are scheduled, I look forward to attending in person. Mahalo for your time and service to Maui County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple things for clarification. Testimony is limited at 3 minutes, so everybody does get 3 minutes, not 2 minutes. And then I'm not too sure if you confuse the proposed Heritage Hall with the existing Heritage Hall in Paia that already celebrates our Portuguese and Puerto Rican heritage. Are you, same. Did you make that confusion, or did you read it somewhere you would like to share with us?
Yes, I did read it, and whatever it is, I want thoughtful development,
Okay.
and 3 minutes is not enough, with all due respect. So what I'm asking for is, like Mr. Nicola, we want community meetings for our residents, and we want thoughtful development.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you. Members, any other clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Yes, Chair. The next and currently last individual signed up to testify is Max Tornai.
Aloha, Mr. Tornai.
Aloha. Can
Aloha.
you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you and we can see you.
Okay, thank you. So aloha, Chair and committee members. My name is Max Tornai, and I'm the Grants Director for Hawaii Farm Project and Maui Gold Pineapple Farm. I'm testifying here today actually in support of Resolution 2668, which refers a proposed bill regarding agricultural subdivisions to the Maui, Molokai, and Lanai Planning Commissions. Sorry, I have a puppy here next to me. The proposed bill would add language to the existing Maui County Code to require an agricultural landowner planning on subdividing their land to give notice to their tenants before they file permits with the county to start the subdivision process. The proposed bill would also require the landowner to provide notice to their neighbors as well. And we feel that there really should be more or better options for greater public participation in the review of subdivisions, especially agricultural subdivisions, and specifically more requirements for public notification and the review of subdivision of agricultural land into at least 4 or more parcels. This is especially true when these subdivisions could impact the island's overall food security and turn land actively in true agricultural production into gentleman estate luxury housing a la Lania Poco. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tornai. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. I see we have somebody else who raised their hand. If you would like to call them, please.
Yes, Chair. We do have an individual with the phone number 5224 that I have unmuted, and then followed by them, we have Christopher Salem.
Can the person testifying with the phone number 5224, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can. Thank you.
Hi, aloha, Chair and members of the Maui County Council. My name is Nicole Kealoha, and I'm a longtime resident of Paia. I respectfully request that the Maui County Council defer Resolution 26-84, referring to the Maui Planning Commission proposed bill to amend the Paia Haiku Community Plan and to change the zoning. While there are public noticing requirements associated with projects of this nature, I'm concerned that many community members who may be impacted by this proposed project may still be unaware of it or may not fully understand the project scope and potential long-term impacts on the greater Paia area. This proposed project is on a much larger scale and has the potential to impact the broader community beyond the immediate surrounding properties. The proposed project, along with additional anticipated projects that may also move forward in the area, may place significant burdens on Baldwin Avenue and surrounding roadway systems already heavily relied upon by residents, workers, families, and emergency services throughout Paia and neighboring communities. As someone who has lived in Paia for many years, I have personally witnessed the ongoing traffic congestion, roadway limitations, and challenges affecting our community. Additional large-scale development projects without broader community discussion and understanding of the impacts may place even greater strain on an area already experiencing infrastructure and access concerns. Given the potential impacts to traffic, roadway access, infrastructure, evacuation routes, and public safety, I respectfully believe additional community outreach engagement should occur before this matter proceeds to the Maui Planning Commission. Thank you for your time.
Mahalo, Nicole. Nice to hear from you. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Salem?
Yes, Chair. Next testifier is Christopher Salem.
Good morning, members of the Maui County Council. I just happened to turn on the television today and seen Junior testifying. So my testimony today absolutely supports Junior's efforts and what he's doing here in West Maui. Specifically related to the agenda item today, the council truly needs to get into more of local input and insight into these proposed developments to allow you to make educated decisions based on local knowledge. One of the major issues that is occurring in this county is that when citizens do come forward or developers come forward and falsify their applications and their studies, and they're called out for it, we get labeled as prospective litigants and obviously get a muzzle put on us. I'd state for the record that if you would listen up front, had you listened up front about all the discovery and evidence involving Olawalu and the developments around Lahaina, I stand by my position that Lahaina would not have been as catastrophic as it was. But again, we're looked at as the villains in this democratic process instead of deeply caring individuals about our community and our fellow residents. Unfortunately, that's the label that I have, but certainly not within my community. I'll state for the record, which everyone, I hope you're sitting down, the degree and number of people who are asking me to run for mayor is staggering. If you can imagine that the bar is that low, but the bottom line is the trust in our government is that low. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Salem, for your testimony. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none. Do we have any other testifiers?
Chair, we don't have anyone else signed up. Would you like me to do a final call?
Please.
If somebody would like to testify in the chamber, please let staff know, or on Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand. This is final call. 3, 2, 1. Chair, it appears that nobody wishes to testify.
Thank you. For the record, Member Rollins Fernandez is actually excused. She's at a conference right now. So we'll continue with the first item on our agenda, which is Resolution 26-84, which would refer to the Maui Planning Commission bills to amend the Paia Haiku Community Plan and to change the zoning for over 40 acres in Paia for the EC Paia Town Project. Here to present about the project and discuss it with us are Mr. Chip Chase and Mr. Nakamoto and Mr. Whitaker. We also have planning with us as well, and after they present, then I will ask planning for their comments. I would love Member Paulton to be here, and she will probably be, let me check my time. I know we have other items on the agenda, so I don't want to hold us up too much, but she took off at 9:33. Members, before we begin the presentation, would you mind if we just take like a 5-minute recess? And then we'll come back and hopefully she will at least land and she can join us. Did you need something, Mr. Member?
No, I just wanted to make sure that we're able to recess right after.
I think we'll have to redo testimony. We'll have to just make that, we'll have to call open testimony again. I didn't technically close it.
Chair, I think at this stage, because testimony isn't closed on anything, you could still come back and take the presentation and then go back into testimony.
Okay. Let's just do a quick 5-minute recess and give her just a little bit time to join us so that she can actively participate in our discussion. And we've heard about an hour worth of testimony, and I drink water all day, so I'm going to need a 5-minuter. And then we'll get Member Paulton hopefully closer to joining us, if that's okay with you. And then we will have a minute for you folks to get settled and begin your presentation. So it is 9:59 a.m. and we will come back at 10:05. Good morning and welcome back from recess. It is 10:15. We left off before recess right at the beginning of the presentation of this project. So we will go into that. If Mr. Chipchase, Nakamoto, Mr. Whitaker could set up their presentation, we will hear from them, followed by the planning department's comments.
Thank you, Committee Chair. I'm Cal Chipchase. To my right is Keola Whitaker, and to his right is Matt Nakamoto. Keola, Matt, and I represent EC Paia, but as Auntie Mopsy said when she admonished us at the beginning that she'll hold us accountable, we really represent Sam, because Sam Herbode is EC Paia. It's his company. There isn't a conglomerate behind him. It's his company. And so when he reached out to his neighbors in Paia in the letter, that was his phone number that was in the letter. And when he responded to folks on the phone and by text and by email, those were his words. He wrote them, he responded, he talked to folks who reached out with questions or concerns. This is Sam's project. And so while it's in the name of EC Paia, you heard today in the testimony about Sam, and we'll talk about Sam. And if the council committee will excuse me from deviating from the script for a moment, I'll address the community before I address the council. We, over the course of this project, I got to know Sam 6 years ago or so when I was defending him in a lawsuit brought by a different individual in Paia who claimed to have some interest in this property. We were successful in that lawsuit, and once that was sort of settled, Sam proceeded with understanding the property, understanding the community plan, understanding the history of this parcel, and then looking at what was possible. And in looking at what was possible, we looked at the entire 340 acres that he purchased from A&B, his former A&B cane and mill land. There's a skimming well in the middle of it. Popular local swimming destination for kids, no matter how hard we try to fence it and keep them safe. And I understand the temptation. When I saw it, I wanted to jump in too. But when we approached this, we looked then at the planning for the area. And the planning for the area in the island plan calls for the 40 acres that you'll see in the presentation here to be developed as an extension of the small town, and to be developed as an extension with mixed commercial and with residential uses, both multifamily and single family. And it calls for the balance of the property to remain in agriculture, the other 300 acres to remain as an agricultural designation. And so that's the approach that Sam has taken. And as we'll switch to the slides to start to look at some parts of it. Dramatic pause for the next slide. There we go. The parcels that are outlined there, those two in yellow, look like strange little segments in a larger land because those are the areas that were designated for growth in the plan. That's what the council and the community came together when they adopted the island plan and signaled that these are the areas that we want to explain. And while they look kind of strange in the abstract, when we walk through the presentation, you'll see how they integrate with the town. The balance of the land, and if we'll go to the next slide, as I said, will remain in agriculture, and Sam is most of the way through an agricultural subdivision of that property. 18 lots, the bulk of the land remain open and in agriculture and supporting the agricultural use of the property. The subdivision of those 18 lots then helps to fund the rest of this project. And in approaching this project, we met with dozens of Paia residents in their homes, in businesses, in my office in Kahului, in Lahela's office in Kahului. And we met on those smaller scales because we wanted to really give a voice to whoever we were speaking with. In large community meetings, it tends to be the loudest voice that gets the most attention, and the softer voices sometimes get drowned out. But we wanted to hear from everybody we could hear from. And some of the things we heard were, we would like more parking in Paia, so we incorporated that. We would like traffic management, and so we'll talk about that and how we incorporated that. We would like a green buffer for fire control when we met with some of the firefighters in the area. That was a concern. Evacuation routes, all of these things that we were able to develop as part of the proposal that you see before the council today. And certainly, in the efforts to meet with as many people as we could, we didn't meet with everyone. But that's wonderful, really, because they had a chance to talk to us today, and they have a chance to talk to us as the process moves forward. And so that everybody understands that, and again, talking to the community, not the council members who know these things, that the process from here, if we were successful in even moving the resolution out of council after the hearings that council has to have and the opportunities to hear from people that council has, we would go to Planning Commission, more opportunity for public testimony. From Planning Commission, we would come back to council for another round of hearings and votes, more public testimony, more engagement. From there, we go to the State Land Use Commission. And after that, with additional public testimony, additional public engagement, we come back to the Planning Commission for SMA. We're looking at, as Lahela said, a 7 to 10 year process from where we sit today before we can start to provide businesses that people need. Auntie Mopsy mentioned the clinic, before we can get that up. For the homes that you know, are, I mean, my family has moved away from Oahu too because they can't afford it, from the homes that our residents need. It is a long process, and as part of that long journey, Sam has asked us, and I always think it's the right thing to do, to meet with as many people as are willing to meet. So everybody who testified today with concerns or didn't feel like you had a voice, Sam's number is in the letter. My number is easy to find. I'm easy to find. Lahela is easy to find. We will come to your house. We will sit down with you and we will talk to you about our plans. We will talk to you about your concerns, and we will, to the extent we can, incorporate your wisdom and guidance into the project before it comes back, even to the council for its last consideration. And so as we move through this presentation, I think that some of the questions, concerns will be answered. The Heritage Hall, for example, that's an idea that came up sort of late in the process from a generational Native Hawaiian cultural practitioner who wanted some ability to have a space to honor the pre-plantation through plantation legacy of Paia. And Sam's reaction to that when I said, is this something you would do, is, of course, we can make the space available at a nominal rent. And that's the kind of guy that he is, and the willingness to engage that he has shown. So it's not 85 acres. It wasn't 4 million. It was a lot more than that. It's 340. Only 40 are slated for development because that's what the community plan, or the island plan, has called for. And I think we'll answer those and other questions today, but we'll answer all your questions after today. Anything that you want to know. And I reached out to Junior after his testimony. I've worked with him on many things in West Maui, is to make sure he understood that we have engaged. And like Auntie Mopsy, Junior is a guy who will hold me accountable if I don't engage, if I don't follow through on what I say I will do. And so when I say we'll engage, I mean it. And if you need to find me, look me up, Keola, Matt, we'll sit down with any of you. Okay, I went off script for a bit. I appreciate the indulgence from the council members. I'll turn back to you. And with that, I'll turn to Matt and ask Matt to walk us through the history of the area, the planning for the area, and the proposed uses.
Hello, testing. Okay. Thanks, Cal. Today we're here for, like Cal said, the first step. This is a council-initiated community plan amendment and change of zoning for the EC Paia Town project. And this is a proposed mixed-use community consistent with the existing Maui long-range plans on 2 parcel portions that make up 40 acres. So these parcels have been in intensive agriculture use since the 1870s until Paia Mill ceased operations in 2000. And since then, Sam, the applicant, has acquired the parcels and fenced them in, and it's currently being used for cattle grazing. The existing county zoning is interim district and agricultural district. And the existing Paia Haiku community plan land use designations are open space, agriculture, and heavy industrial. And as Cal mentioned briefly, the Maui Island Plan designates both of these parcel portions entirely within the small town growth boundary. So as you see on the screen, that's the yellow outline. And it also includes a large portion of the Paia expansion plan growth area, which is one of 3 plan growth areas in Paia and Haiku in the Maui Island Plan. And that's shown in the orange hatch. And the Maui Island Plan goes further to describe the Paia expansion plan growth area, and it envisions this area as a, quote, compact mixed-use small town expansion that replicates the authentic architectural styles and design vocabulary of the business country towns of Maui, and further says that urbanization of this site will provide residential housing in a location that is adjacent to Paia Town's employment opportunities. It further notes that the Paia expansion plan growth area should include a mix of residential and commercial uses, lot sizes, single-family and multifamily housing units, public facilities, services, parks, a medical clinic, civic and open spaces, and neighborhood-serving transit stops, and should also be designed to provide multimodal connections. And the Maui Island Plan establishes planning guidelines for this Paia expansion plan growth area and notes that this area should include approximately 207 units with a net density of 7 to 10 units per acre, a balanced mix of single and multifamily units, parks and open space, as well as neighborhood serving commercial. So taking what was in the Maui Island Plan, Paia expansion plan growth area, as well as the engagement that was discussed earlier with small groups throughout Paia, this is the preliminary site plan and for this project, and it's pretty small on the screen, so the next few slides will go into it in more detail. But the first component of the project is a public parking lot. It would be approximately 200 stalls, and it's intended to alleviate the existing town's parking congestion and would support both existing and proposed businesses and community uses. It's intended to serve as an overflow lot to accommodate vehicles from the county municipal lot as well as the Mono Foods parking lot. And access and circulation to this proposed lot will be determined as detailed design progresses in collaboration with DOT and DPW. Spatially on the site plan, the public parking lot is located in Area 1, which is outlined in gray on the screen. And the zone change requested here would be to P1, public, quasi-public, and the community plan to public, quasi-public. And the line shown in red is a potential connection to the county municipal lot. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, that would be determined as detailed design progresses in collaboration with DOT and DPW. And the next component of the project is the housing component, and it would include approximately 170 residential units. The preliminary mix at this point is 120 single-family and 50 multifamily residential. Ohana units would be permitted on the single-family lots per Maui County Code, Title 19. The project will satisfy Chapter 2.96, the county's residential workforce housing policy, and will also provide additional gap group residential units. The estimated densities of the multifamily areas would be 10 units per acre and 3 to 7 units per acre in the single family areas. And building heights will be limited to 2 stories and 30 feet above grade, which is consistent with both the Paia Haiku community plan as well as the Paia Haiku country town design guidelines. So the 3 components of the housing, the first is the workforce rental units, the Chapter 2.96 units, and these would target households earning up to 120% of the area median income. The gap group units, which are intended to be single-family for sale homes, will target households between 120% AMI and 220% AMI. And the last component is the market units, and those would target primarily local Maui buyers. They would be designed for owner-occupants. They'll prioritize lower HOA dues over resort-style amenities, And Zonda did a preliminary market assessment for these for this product and recommend pricing them at 1 to 1.6 million. Spatially, on the site plan, the multifamily is proposed in Area 2, which is outlined in orange. And here the zoning is requested to be changed to A1 apartment district and the community plan to multifamily. And the 2 single-family areas are outlined in yellow, areas 5 and 6 on the site plan. And the zoning for these 2 areas is requested to be changed to R1 residential district and community plan from agriculture to single-family. And I'll note in Area 6, this is where we are requesting a community plan change from heavy industrial to single-family. For the commercial side, a general merchandising store, gym fitness center, and other neighborhood serving commercial uses are proposed along the frontage of Baldwin Avenue. A medical dental wellness clinic and urgent care facility, a potential preschool or daycare, potential heritage hall, and like with the residential units, all buildings will be limited to 2 stories and 30 feet. Spatially, the medical uses are located in Area 3, which is outlined in blue on the screen. And here the zoning is requested to be changed to B2 Community Business District and Community Plan to Business Commercial. Area 4, which is the neighborhood serving commercial uses along Baldwin, the zoning is requested to be changed to B1 Neighborhood Business and the Community Plan to Business Commercial. The project also proposes relocating the Paia Mini Bypass Road westward along Hana Highway and making it a 2-way road intended to improve both traffic flow and safety. And to accommodate these new 2-way operations, a new traffic signal is anticipated at the intersection of Hana Highway and the relocated bypass road. Hana Highway will also need to be widened to provide a westbound left turn lane onto the relocated road. And Baldwin Avenue will need to be widened to provide a northbound left turn lane onto the relocated road. The project also is proposing repurposing the Malka portion of the existing Paia Mini Bypass Road into a shared use greenway to support bicycle and pedestrian travel, access, and connectivity. And the Baldwin Avenue frontage will be upgraded to county urban standards, which includes curbs, gutters, sidewalks, underground utilities, planters, and bike lanes. And all internal project streets will be constructed to those same county urban standards. Spatially, from left to right, what I just discussed, in pink outline is where the anticipated traffic signal would be. Going over to the relocated Paia Bypass Road, as you can see, its preliminary location shifting westward along Hana Highway and conversion into 2-way operation between Hana Highway and Baldwin Avenue. In green is where the shared use greenway is proposed, and that is the existing Paia Mini Bypass Road that would be repurposed for bicycle and pedestrian use. In orange is where the Baldwin Avenue street frontage would be upgraded to county urban standards. And in darker orange is where Baldwin Avenue would be widened for the left turn lane onto the relocated bypass. So to sum things up, these are the proposed change of zoning and community plan maps that are in the resolution and draft bills, and they reflect everything that was just discussed in this presentation.
Thank you, Matt. He's turning it back to me to take a technical look at the resolution. So this is from an excerpt from the resolution. This is in the whereas clauses where we just sort of state purpose and intent. We do request 2 amendments to the resolution as presented. The first, in describing the potential uses, is to add that Heritage Hall and the center. That's a commitment we made to a generational resident to make space available for that. I think it'd be fair to describe that in the potential uses of the property. The other one that you see up on the screen, the more detailed one, I've got to take responsibility for the mistake. When we first put in the resolution, I just put down the wrong number of income restricted units. It's actually going to be probably 50 income restricted units. And so what we changed that to from roughly 100 income restricted units is at least 34 workforce housing units to satisfy the code, and an additional 16 gap group residential units. I'll take that as an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. I know Councilmember Johnson is going to ask me about affordable housing and perpetuity, and probably Councilmember Paulton as well. So I'll preempt some of that. The 34 units that we would envision would be in the multifamily portion. They would be rental units, and they would remain in affordability and perpetuity. That's the plan for those. For the 16 gap group, the members who have had me on other projects, shall we say, know that I'm a big proponent of a gap group, including some gap group housing in the project. And so we identified 16 potential units or 16 units in the single family side, where we would target a gap group that is roughly 121% of the AMI, so just outside of the affordability, to about 220% of the AMI. And I take those ranges on projects really from the trade and other unions that I've worked with and met with, where they explain to me that a lot of their members, if they have, you know, 2 working spouses, they just don't qualify for workforce housing, but they can't afford market housing. And so we've tried to target income ranges in that area to really focus on existing local residents who need housing. The last thing I'll say about the housing is the market units outside of that restricted range. As you saw on the screen, our market study looked at what range could we target in the area to target primarily local buyers. And to get into a 60 to 80% of existing local buyer market, we're targeting the 1 to 1.6. I think the range is probably closer to the Paia median at about 1.3, and that would sort of maximize the number of local buyers we can attract to the single family area. To do that, to make that work, we have to reduce the lot sizes and make, as was noted in the presentation, not make it a resort development. It's not about the amenities in the community, it's about housing a community. And so that's how we have approached the single family portion of the project. Thanks for the time to listen to our presentation today. I look forward to any questions you have when we get to that part of the proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your presentation. Planning, do you have any comments that you would like to add?
Yes, thank you, Chair Hodgins. Just a few for your consideration. This being a council-initiated project, the review requirements are different for projects proposed by council versus project proposed by applicants. And this is according to Maui County Code 19.510.020 and 280B. And this being council-initiated, there are less requirements. And so generally, the department's position is that by bypassing the normal application and environmental review or procedures expected of a private development project of significant magnitude, there could be a reduction in the level of impact analysis normally performed by the department, the Planning Commission, and the council. And this could result in relatively little community input and may result in potential impacts to the community. And for these reasons, the department recommends that projects of significant size kind of do the work similar to an applicant-initiated project to make sure, you know, that engagement is thorough and that any cultural resources or environmental issues and the needs of the community are heard and addressed. So it does sound like they are going through that process and making sure that all of these potential impacts are going to be considered. So that's mainly our thing, is that the process, especially when it's 40 acres, because there will be impacts, and so that those impacts are considered and addressed. And maybe, you know, the project could be modified if needed to address those concerns. We'll know more as we take it through the commission, and I do appreciate that the applicant has submitted the information in the map system, so that's super helpful. But when we do take it to commission and bring it back to the council, we're going to ask that you folks take a little bit 30,000-foot look at Paia as a whole, including projects that are already entitled and other council-initiated resolutions in the area, including, like, for example, the Paia Train Depot and the Paia Mill, because all of these together could have an impact on the town. And as we all know, it's a very special place. So, yeah, we'll know a lot more as we take it through the process, but I do appreciate the work that the applicant has already prepared. That helps and goes a long way in this process. Thank you. If we have questions about the process, I do have our current division administrator here. He knows quite a bit about that stuff, so we can answer any of those questions if you have them. Thanks.
Thank you, Planning Director Takakura. Before we go into discussion, which when we do, I'm going to start with Vice Chair Batangan. Do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Chair. Our first testifier is Margaret Shepard.
Ms. Shepard.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me testify. I've been a resident at Skill Village for like almost 40 years, and my first concern, because there's been planning areas for years now that were proposed, and the traffic going down Paia is pretty stunning. But I've been taking the bypass for years, and I think maybe it will be okay. But I'm thinking it will change the whole genre of Paia, and in consideration of what happened in Lahaina, I don't know. It seems like, why don't they build more houses up at Haile Maile and then have a strip mall up there, because they've already got a development, and I oppose it because I like the type of building, the building and the atmosphere of Paia. And I know they have a long history. Paia was actually supposed to be the largest city in Maui, but it does have a long history. And I would not like to see the feeling of Paia changed. And it may, because all of the housing is so close to the road. And I just think that it would be a shame to lose the feeling of Paia because of all the new building and the strip mall. I used to think, oh, great, there'll never be a McDonald's in Paia. And now I'm thinking, oh, wow, at a strip mall, maybe there would be a McDonald's, and that would be a tragedy to me. So anyway, maybe not. So I don't know enough about it. I haven't read the 45-page information, but just consider Paia as a historic town, and now they're more rare now that Lahaina burned down. So anyway, thank you for letting me come and talk.
Thank you, members. I'm sorry, ma'am, sorry. Oh. Member Cook has a clarifying question for you. Thank you. Go ahead, Member Cook.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing. And having, my clarifying question. Mm-hmm. You mentioned strip mall a couple of times, and I heard somebody else say that. What's your definition and perspective? It's like, I'll put it in perspective. When you drive in Paia now, there's stores side by side,
yeah,
which, quote, strip malls, which are really cheap down and undesirable, is very similar to having a lot of stores. Is it the architectural style or density?
I think it would be the distraction from the original type of shops that they have in Paia. And I just don't want it to become estranged, to Paia to become estranged to itself. And, that's just my having lived there for a long time.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Member Cook. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Does anybody else have any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Do we have anybody else signed up to testify?
Chair, we did have 2 individuals raise their hand. However, they've testified at the beginning of the meeting. We have Kei Aupune Ko Hawaii Pai'aina and Lori Nielsen. And we don't know if anybody may be with them who wants to testify on HLU-14, but they have testified on this item already.
Okay.
But we have...
we can go with Mr. Pai'aina first. If you have anybody with you that would like to testify, they're welcome to do so. But we did hear from you regarding this item. Okay. No response. We can move on. Was it Lori Betzel that also
Yeah.
had her hand up?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Betzel, if you have somebody with you who would like to testify, we'd be happy to hear from them. But we did already hear from you regarding this item.
Yes, pardon me, Chair. I had a clarifying question for one of the speakers, so I
Okay.
can just email them and
Okay.
ask.
Why don't you
Thank
do that? Thank you. Anybody else signed up to testify?
Yes, Chair, we have one individual who just raised their hand, Albert Perez.
Okay. Mr. Perez?
Good morning. Good morning, council members.
Good
Aloha
morning.
kakahiaka. Yeah, I was looking for some information about the project, but there wasn't any detail until after the meeting started, so I've reviewed that now. And I'm representing Maui Tomorrow Foundation, and we support good planning. We acknowledge that the project is within sorry, I haven't prepared my testimony at all, you can tell. So it's talked about in the Maui Island Plan, it's talked about in the community plan. What is missing, I think, is that it's still in the state agricultural district. And there is a lot of analysis that goes on when something comes before the Land Use Commission, as this one would, because it's over 15 acres. So we don't have any economic analysis. We don't have any kind of cultural analysis that I've seen. The lower portion of the project is in the flood zone. And that may be just the parking lot, but I would also like to ask that this be deferred and let the Land Use Commission take a look at it first, because that's how we get good planning in this state. The Planning Commission process, the Planning Department's analysis, it'll be good, but a lot of the work is normally done by the Land Use Commission staff, and there's a very thorough process that they take it through. So that's my mana'o on short notice. Not necessarily opposing the project, but advocating for good planning. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much for your testimony. Bye. Any other testifiers?
Chair, that is currently all the testifiers who are signed up. Would you like me to do a last call?
Please do.
If somebody would like to testify in the chamber, please let staff know, or on Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand. This is final call. 3, 2, 1. Chair, it appears that nobody wishes to testify.
Thank you. Members, we will begin with discussion. We're going to limit ourselves to 3 minutes as well. We'll do a couple rounds as necessary, and I will begin with Vice Chair Batangan. If you would like
Excuse
to.
me, Chair.
Yes.
Would you like to close testimony?
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, members. Without objection, I will close testimony, and as a reminder, written testimony will continue to be accepted. Thank you. Sorry. Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, project team, for being here with us. First question, on the public parking lot, you note that you're going to collaborate with HDOT and Public Works. Do you plan to collaborate with MDOT as well? I think this council is trying to push for them to take over parking management in Paia Town, and just want to make sure that they're looped in.
Good suggestion, council member. Absolutely.
And then in the reduction of workforce housing from 100 to 50, can I confirm that that still satisfies the workforce housing requirements under 2.96?
It does, and let me be clear. When we were conceiving of the project and looking at the densities that were allowed under the island plan, there's a potential to have more units than we proposed. And so we were looking at how many I could push into not necessarily workforce housing, but income restricted in some form to capture the gap group. And so when we reduced the scale based on community feedback and other considerations to 170, the number of gap group housing or income restricted came down as well. The 34 units that will be workforce housing units will satisfy Chapter 296. The additional income restricted, the additional 16 gap group are outside of 2.96. We don't get any credits or benefits or anything for those. But I think it's important to do. So yes, coming back to your question, the project will satisfy 2.96 and go beyond that.
Thank you. And then following up on the question that Member Cook had posed regarding strip malls,
Yeah.
can I confirm that the stores fronting Baldwin Avenue will be similar in character to the existing storefronts?
Wonderful question, and I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, is the direct answer to that, both in scale and style. They will conform to the guidelines and to the existing architecture of the area.
Okay. And then do you plan to concurrently ask for a state land use DBA, or is it, like, what is your plan for that portion outside of the council's change in community plan and zoning?
Yeah, so another good question. So if you've ever, for anybody who's ever gone through this, you end up a little ping-pongy sometimes with the state and the county. The state tends not to consider land use district boundary amendments until there's a community plan amendment. The county is sometimes concerned about rezoning if you don't have a district boundary amendment. And so that can add, literally years to the process. And so what we have proposed to do here is to complete the county community plan amendment and zoning in this council-initiated resolution, and then to go to the Land Use Commission for the district boundary amendment. Nothing can be done until both of those major permitting efforts are required, and in addition, we have a portion of the property, mostly the parking lot, but some of the multifamily that is SMA. And so we're back to the county even with that to satisfy the SMA.
Cool. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Paulton is still en route, so Member Johnson, I will go with you if you have any questions.
Thank you, Chair, and I appreciate that term ping-pongy because it does sound like it's going to be like that. So much of my questions were answered in your presentation. Thank you so much, but I do have a few more.
Of course.
The widening of Baldwin, who's going to pay for the widening of the road?
So all the infrastructure would be funded by SAM and the project.
Designed for owner occupied. That's what I heard in the presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit more when you say designed for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you know, I think we've talked about it in this chamber and otherwise, it's difficult to constitutionally restrict your buyers, but you can design a project targeting a specific buyer class. And so that's what we've looked to do. Both with the location, as you can see, we're not trying to maximize views. We're not trying to maximize amenities. We're not trying to maximize lot sizes. You do all of those things to get you to a price point and a buyer profile that predominates in the local market. And so we worked with the market study. One has been done. Okay. Worked with the market study to come up with how we would design and price the units to target a local buyer.
How long does a market study hold its water? If you're planning to do this project 10 years down the line, don't you think the market would change by then?
The market will change in the sense that prices will go up. I don't see any way around that. Construction costs will go up. Land holding costs are what they are. Labor costs will go up. The dollar will inflate. I mean, it's inflating at my gas pump just last night down in Kahului. And so all of those things will be true. But the market profile, the buyers will be the same.
Okay. The 34 rentals, you don't have any for sale? Are you considering any kind of rent to own?
For the
34.
Yeah, for the workforce housing, the straight workforce housing, we're looking at rental, and that is also a reflection and part of the market study. There is a need for workforce rental in Paia.
It's like a yes and. There is need for rentals and there's need for sale. So I would hope, this is that years down the line now, everybody remember. I would hope you would consider some place in this moving part parcel that there would be a place for someone to buy. And so just, I know, I hear what you're saying, but please consider it.
Point taken, we will.
The thing about those shops that we're talking about, those jobs that would be provided tend to be retail, and retail is some of our lowest paying jobs that's on the table. That's my concern, is that if we're only having retail jobs and only having rentals, then we're in this vicious cycle. That's my time, and I'm sure we'll go for a second round.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was just going to ask if I could. And, so what we looked at in the market is that a lot of the businesses are small business owners. And so the smaller shops give you an opportunity to own a business, and you may work in it and you may hire out at those lower rates, but you're contributing through increasing the ownership of businesses in Paia. We also are looking at doing the medical clinic and pharmacy, which obviously involves skilled workers in a higher income range. And so we're really trying to diversify that commercial segment with businesses that Paia needs.
I'm a proponent of mixed use. I love that model. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Johnson. Member Cook, I'm going to go to you. Before I do, I'm going to just let Member Paulton know that we're in discussions. If you're on your way here, I will save your questions for when you join us. Thank you. Member Cook.
Thank you. I'm on my way here, and I just wanted to disclose I'm in a vehicle in Kahului with Angela Lucero.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, Angela.
Thank you, Chair. I'm really enjoying this meeting because many, many years ago, being one of the members in the Maui Island Plan that worked on the urban growth boundaries with some of the planners, and seeing this manifest, it was talked a lot about. So I had a question. I'll make one more comment before I ask the planning department. But time amplifies cost. And this plan was so many years ago, and it's good that it's delayed because Maui's developing more slowly and more organically. Although sometimes it's so slow, it just gets more and more and more expensive, and then it's not available. But for the planning department, my question is clarification. Does the council initiated minimize public involvement? Because by not having the ping pong with the land use commission back and forth, and we have so many different public engagements at every single step of the way, I just am reaching out to you so some clarity of like, how can we thoroughly review a project, give the public the opportunity to input, but not add years to the cost? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. You're correct. There is quite a long process. Even with something being initiated by the council, there's still a lot of review time. So Mr. Chip Chase was very accurate, and there's a resolution that comes before this council. It then goes to the Maui Planning Commission. It then comes back to this council, and then there's a district boundary amendment, separate process. And Mr. Chip Chase was correct. Unfortunately, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but in the past, we would have the district boundary done first and then run, your community plan amendment, change in zoning, et cetera, all as one package. Now they want the community plan done first, so there is this ping-ponging. I don't know if there's too much of a way around it. I mean, we're working with existing laws.
Thank you. My follow-up question to that is in general, this is following the Maui Island Plan and not deviating from that, correct?
That's correct.
The other projects that are proposed and in play, are they also conforming with the Maui Island Plan, or are they asking for variances from it? I'm trying to get a handle because the concept of looking at it holistically, I thought that's, if you're following the Island Plan, that's what you're doing. And if this is and the other ones are, even if they're not looked at together comprehensively, they're looking. I think you can hopefully understand what I'm trying to say.
So I can answer that one, Chair, if that's okay. In terms of the Maui Island Plan, the item that the DRIP committee will be seeing this afternoon is the first deviation from the Maui Island Plan. All the other projects have been within the urban or rural or small town growth boundaries. This one is, as they mentioned, is within the small town growth boundaries, which is good because that's where, the general plan for small growth, small town. So generally speaking, yes, they are projects that have come before us in the past have been within the Maui Island Plan boundaries, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Cook. Chair Lee.
Thank you, Chair. I really don't have any questions because I've been here the longest, and when you say 7 to 10 years, it's probably more like 15 years. Being realistic. So, although there's the temptation to start to get into the weeds now, it's going to be a long and winding road, and it's just premature to be talking about conditions to housing, et cetera. The main thing that we can do at this point is try to expedite it so that it does go through the process, and which involves, as people said, many opportunities for the community to get involved and provide input. None of us will be here when this project is ready to go. And so, realistically speaking, I like the presentation. It looks well thought out, tries to respect, the small town culture, and so forth. I just wish you all the luck in the world, because, like I said, I'll give you an example. The first time I was on the council in the 90s, we approved the Kehalani subdivision. So 40 years later, it's not finished, but most of it is, thank goodness. So hopefully, you don't follow that pattern exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Lee. Did you guys want to add to anything, or you want to move on? Gentleman in front of me, did you want to address Chair Lee's concerns about 10 years?
I've certainly been involved in one that is going on its 20th year, I think, or pretty darn close to it. So I absolutely understand the risk there, and I can't say that it's impossible. But I hope to still be here when this project finally breaks ground and we get that center and the community benefits and the housing up. I don't plan to be here in 40 years either, so I'm counting on us getting it done quicker than that.
Very good, very good. You might be, maybe on crutches or, a wheelchair, but hey, who knows?
Maybe an electric scooter. I hope those are easier. Member Senenzi, you have any questions?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe Matt would still be here.
Maybe. Yeah, he looks young enough.
But to Chair Lee's point, Sam is not going to sell the project, right?
No, his intention is not to flip. To entitle and flip is not in his DNA.
Okay, thank you for that. And then to, I guess, Director Takakura and staff. So if it's council initiated, then the project doesn't have to go through an EIS process?
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay, so we would have to, put in some extra protections. There's no burial sites near or on the property?
None have been identified, member. So we have done preliminary ARC and culture studies. We've done water, wastewater, civil, site planning, drainage, traffic, flora, fauna. There's probably a couple that I'm missing, but no EV or burial sites have been identified on the property. The archaeologist is Tanya Lee Gregg. She has identified areas of the property based on her pedestrian survey and prior research that she believes warrant further exploration, sandy areas, mostly in the Mackay portion. We will absolutely do that work and complete the full 6E process.
Okay, and I only ask because a lot of these old plantation towns, a lot of the old camps, they just kind of buried their kupuna out back, yeah.
We will take nothing for granted.
Okay, thank you for that. And then, Ms. Rogers talked about industrial zone. We're changing, we're asking for industrial to residential.
Correct, we're moving away from a heavy industrial designation.
Are there any plans to maybe address or do some testing prior to that?
We will have phase one, the environmental testing done, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. And then Mr. Paiaina asked about Kuleana lands. Are there any Kuleana lands on the project?
I'm not aware of any Kuleana lands on the property.
Okay, and then Mr. Who is that? Perez, he asked about the DBA. So, but having an approval with a community plan and going to the LUC would kind of help the project at the LUC? Should you present a community plan change to the LUC?
So it's necessary to start with the county before going to the Land Use Commission if you don't have a community plan. What we're seeking here is both community plan and a zone change, which would then position us to go to the Land Use Commission as the next major entitlement and alleviate that ping-ponging back and forth. It will probably end up saving a year or two or more from an otherwise massively long process.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you,
You're
Chair.
welcome.
Thank you, Member Sinensi. I will ask a few questions as we wait for Member Paulton to join us. Couple things. As a Paia resident, I'm not going to abdicate our ability for home rule to send it to the LUC before we have an opportunity and our Planning Commission an opportunity to hear about it first. While there is somebody from Paia that I talk to quite often on the LUC, he can wait his turn. I mean, I love him, but he can still wait his turn. So can you please discuss, in one of your slides, there's a road widening on the Baldwin side. And as we all know, the Baldwin Road is quite narrow as it exists. Is the proposed expansion going to be on your folks' parcel?
Matt, can you pull that slide up again?
Please, thank you. While you're doing so, Mr. Chipchase, maybe you can talk to us about what communication you've had with, if any, with Department of Transportation and what it's going to be like to maybe have another signal there before you enter Paia Town.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have met with HDOT. We also met with County Public Works, County Planning, Mayor's Office, Department of Housing, and some other agencies. And with respect to the highways meeting, HDOT was generally supportive of the project as conceived and of the traffic mitigation that's been proposed. The idea with the relocated bypass is to move it farther away from Paia to create some distance between the two stoplights, but also to get people off the highway sooner as they come into Paia and onto the bypass to help reduce the queuing that we see as we come into Paia now. And so we'll work with DOT, we'll work with the county. Good suggestion from Member Batangan to also work with the county DOT to ensure that the design and implementation of that stoplight helps traffic rather than hurting things.
Thank you. And so that purple area that's highlighted there next to the pink area, that's on your folks' parcel?
That's right.
Okay. Okay. And then considering the existing bypass is a one-way going into town, and the new proposed bypass, is that going to be two-way so people can also leave Paia without going through town?
Exactly. Exactly. So the idea was that for folks who are truly intending to bypass Paia, whether you're going in or you're coming down Baldwin, you don't have to go through that light at Paia in order to exit the town. We think that will help tremendously with traffic congestion. On that point, I know this goes a little bit beyond what you asked me, but we think the parking lot will help too, because we'll get people off the road and parking as they come into Paia, facilitating pedestrian access across the street, up the Greenway, and then up Hana and Baldwin as well.
Okay. About parking too, the Mana Foods parking lot is also a county parking lot. Both of those are ours. But it's just closest to Mana Foods, and it is a good reference so that we understand which one you're talking about. But both of them are county parking lots. Can I ask one quick question before we move on to Member Paulton? For the proposed parking lot, are you going to have a fee? Are you going to work with our Park Maui and to kind of do something similar to that, or what do you propose there?
Yeah, good question.
And I know it's early, but still.
It is, and as Chair mentioned, I'm sensitive to the earliness and the ability to adapt to both the market and the community. But what we've heard consistently, and I don't expect this to change, is that folks want to see a dual parking rate structure. So one rate for local residents and then a higher hourly rate for visitors, and that aligns perfectly with Sam's plan for the parking lot.
Thank you. Member Paulton, I know you're on your way here, but we have about 50 minutes left in this committee meeting with 2 more items. So if you would like to go now, I would appreciate it, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. My first question is about the B2 zoning. I think it's 90 feet, but it looks like majority of the rest of it is 30 feet. Are you open to limiting that height
Yeah, absolutely. We would conform to the 30 feet in the community plan.
as a condition?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And next question, I didn't hear water and sewer sources or receptacles being discussed, but that's not my main concern. I'll save that one to the last. The other question is, like, I heard you say about the character of the commercial. Is there any kind of commitment to, like, one of the complaints of the strip mall was about McDonald's and things like that? Like, is there a commitment to utilizing local rather than like corporate national chains?
I've heard that in some of our meetings. I don't think I could commit to saying that we wouldn't let a national business open a store there. The commitment would be more on the design side of it. The commitment would be that we'd conform to the design guidelines and the character of the area. We certainly, in the size of the spaces, are targeting local businesses, not national chains. There's not a space big enough for McDonald's along Baldwin Avenue, for example. But I wouldn't be comfortable saying that no one who has a national footprint could own or rent a store.
Okay, and then for the LUC, will you have to do the things that Ms. Takakura had mentioned about EAs, EISs, cultural assessment, and you just haven't finished it yet?
That's
Or
right.
is that not? Okay. And then the next question I had was, I know you said you had small group meetings. Was that invite only, or could anyone go?
Anybody who reached out to us or that we were able to reach out to, we met with. And so a lot of people I did not know, we were able to get in touch with, and we spread the word pretty far. Still some word to spread, clearly, but it was not limited to a select group, or no one was excluded.
And are you committing to have more of those? Because, like, you know, the beginning testimony seemed like somebody thought you were converting to heavy industrial instead of to single family and like that. Are you committed to continue more of those?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then I'm in the parking lot downstairs, so you can start your water sewer answers if they haven't been addressed yet.
You are an efficient questioner. Nobody gets through as many topics as you. Well, water, sewer. So wastewater will be.
Oh, wait, before that, is it going to be free parking for residents, and is there going to be laundry facilities? You know me.
You can answer.
I would have been disappointed if you didn't get to those. For the multifamily, yes, there won't be a separate charge for parking. The workforce housing, I know you mean. There won't be a separate charge for parking, and there will be laundry facilities. Sewer water, the sewer or the wastewater will be a private system. The water source is, we have 4 options really. There's a substantial skimming well on the property that can be treated to make it potable water. There's an opportunity to work with Mahi Pono either in a water exchange, ag water for potable water with existing wells. There's an opportunity to purchase one of Mahi Pono's wells and use that for the project. And there's an opportunity to drill a well if that turns out to be a better way to approach it. The project.
And to clarify, it's not the same well that Ho'onani is wanting to purchase with county money, right?
Well, that I'm not aware of, one way or the other.
Okay.
Because I hadn't heard that before. But I'm.
Okay.
The short answer is there are a number of solutions to water. The project itself doesn't need much.
Okay. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Not at all. I think that answered, I hope, the sewer and water questions. I heard the timer, but I'll turn it back to committee chair and
Just
follow her
wanna
direction.
Clarify, it's not like individual ATUs, it's a packing plant kind of private sewer?
Yes, exactly. It would not be individual systems.
Okay, yes, please do turn it back over to the chair and I'll make my way upstairs.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
See you in a bit. 1 second. I missed the first question. Maybe Mr. Chipchase can help me out. My son was texting me. He just passed his driver's license. So yay, people, but be careful on the road. What was the height condition that she suggested that you agreed to so I can?
30 feet,
Oh, 30 feet. Okay.
which is part of the community plan anyway.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. This round, I'm not going to go down the line. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Member Cook, I saw you had your hand raised. Please go and ask your questions. Thank you.
I'll be brief, Chair. So my question, are we maintaining the industrial zoning at the sugar mill? And is that project integrated into this project?
Totally separate projects, so I actually don't know what their zoning is.
Thank you for the clarification on that. And then would you be willing to work with the Department of Water Supply through the process to contribute if their supplying water would be a possibility? Because we're trying to minimize trying to maximize municipal water service instead of separate systems.
Yeah, I have had discussions with the Department of Water through Harold Edwards, our consultant. Absolutely open to any options.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Cook. Members, do anybody else have any other questions? Member Johnson, was your questions answered in your first round, or do you have any other questions?
Well, Chair, this last question is really for you,
Okay.
because I hear what they did for their outreach. I appreciate that. But, as this is your district, what's the word on the street for this project?
Good question. I obviously had an opportunity to meet with the housing provider and discuss proposals multiple times. We had a meeting that included like my aunties and my uncles, some of my neighbors from Skill Village, to discuss this project. And I wanted them to hear it. They came from after church and they walked over to my parents' house and they had a meeting. My family, as you know, as I've said so many times, has been from Paia since the beginning of Paia. And to sum it up, they want their children to be able to afford one day and call Paia home again, because we don't really have that opportunity. I think my dad, out of his 50-some-odd cousins, maybe the only cousin that still lives in Paia that's not on our family trust lands. And so what his normal was when he was growing up is significantly different, than what my normal was in Paia town. And it's definitely different from my kids' version of what's normal. What I used to experience in Paia, and this is what we discussed some in the meeting, was that we used to have Little League teams and we used to have T-ball and soccer, and we don't anymore. Because it's too expensive sometimes for young families to live. And I would love to see the community that I remember in Paia town have the opportunity to continue to live in Paia town. So that was my version, but that was my opportunity to discuss and explain to like what my family this may be. But I don't know the people that we heard from. I know 36 years is a long time and 10 years is long enough-ish. But my family being super, super, super generational, we don't have the opportunity to meet this. So I'm happy that we heard from the other newer members of Paia Town and we got to hear their perspective. But that's mine. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Member Batanga, and then we'll go to Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Also have a question for you. Since this is council initiated and you were the person who introduced the resolution, are you comfortable with the two proposed amendments being requested by the applicant?
Yes, I am. I'm not loving that we didn't get it right the first time because it is half the amount. So I really wish I didn't get my heart set on that first number. But at the same time, I understand that the project has probably shrunk over time, and this is where we're at.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for asking. Member Paulton.
Thank you. So my next question would be back to the water. And I heard Member Cook's question, is the intention that it would be private water or, and if you can get back to us, you probably know the guy, Jeff Uyoka, if it's the same well or not the same well, like, let us know.
I've heard of him. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I certainly can get back to you on that. In terms of the system, it would be developed as a private water system. We're not counting on the county. Tom, or Member Cook, was really getting at whether we would be open to selling the system to the county. I haven't had those discussions with Sam, but I see no reason we'd be against that.
And so the drilling a new well, I thought the Paia aquifer was above the sustainable yield. So is that like a less likely option? Sorry.
I would say that's the least likely option. The reason I keep it on the table is because a lot of the impact to the wells has to do with using it for ag water instead of taking stream water. And so as those things get settled, more groundwater may be available for potable uses than is currently present. If that doesn't turn out to be, we have those other options.
Okay, you're aware that Mahipono doesn't own the ditch system. You saw Mr. Schroyer's presentation, right?
I was actually at Mr. Schroyer's presentation. Okay. With respect to Mr. Schroyer, which I have a ton, and this is not the right meeting, I'm not sure he's got 100% of things 100% right, but that's the beauty of that guy is we can battle back and forth and find the right answer.
I think my last question, hopefully, is have you done an analysis of how much time and therefore, like Member Cook said, money is being saved by a council-initiated change in zoning and no ping-ponging? And that's part one of the question.
No analysis of the money saved. My rough guess on the time is more than a year. Probably
Which
a couple
time
of years.
is money.
It always is.
And therefore, are you willing to offer Ms. Hodgins more affordable housing for her community, friends, relatives, community members? Because look at her. I mean, not saying quid pro quo or anything, not like she's going to personally, financially benefit, but the community that she wants to see play baseball and the things.
As scaled, it down to 170 units, 50 income restricted is probably all we can make work, considering that there is no luxury housing to offset the costs of the lower income housing.
Oh, sorry, one more. To clarify on the income restricted ones, that you said like 140 to 2 something or whatever, is that going to be market value?
Oh, there'll be single family homes. I don't know what you mean by market value.
Like, are they going to pay the same as somebody without an income restriction?
No. So the rates of the value of the home, the cost of the home, I should say, would be adjusted to reflect the bracket, the gap group bracket that we're targeting. So if they could afford the market home, it doesn't need to be income restricted.
So HUD has a guideline up to 200%?
No, they don't have a guideline after 200, up to that high. You have to extrapolate in order to...
use the formula.
Exactly.
And you're seeing up to 200% AMI.
220.
220% AMI. If you use the formula, it would not be market.
You come in with an under market price.
What's the formula?
Well, you take the AMI, right, and then you translate that to income, and then you look at what people at that income can afford based on current mortgage rates.
No, I don't mean like how you get it. I mean like X plus Y times whatever. Do you know it, or could you get it to us?
I mean, I can tell you, 120 AMI is $160,000 in income. And I can tell you that in general, people can afford roughly 4 times. A total home price that's roughly 4 times their income.
Okay, if you can shoot us over the formula in writing, that'd be great.
I absolutely will.
Thank you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
I think that completes my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Paulton. I appreciate those questions. I look at it as If we didn't assist in maybe shaving off a year, we maybe would only have 47 rental units or affordable units instead of maybe 50. So, which in this paper would have been 100. But okay.
And I do appreciate affordable in perpetuity.
Oh yeah, good. I'm glad you heard that. He said that earlier for you. And Member Johnson.
I did.
I was listening, but I was like deplaning, so I didn't want to, inadvertently get somebody's armpits or something.
Members, any other questions? We do have a couple more items on this agenda before we go to discussion. Go ahead, Member Cook.
It's not a question, but
Okay.
if you would indulge me.
Sure.
My children's grandma, Violet Figuera, was a seamstress at Iquitas.
Ikeda.
I think it was the 50s or the 60s. And she told me that she passed away, but she said that they used to make aloha shirts for Liberty House on Oahu. So that's like cottage industry. And for people who are talking about Paia changing, it's like Paia's changed so many times, so many ways over all of the years. And to put it in a context of 10 to 20 years is pretty limited. And I respect their perspective, but it's been going through a lot of changes. Families that are there that are still engaged, community members are still engaged. We're very fortunate to have the input. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Cook. Go ahead, Member Paulton.
If you could give us like a schedule of the additional community meetings that are not invite only, at some time, like keep track of the dates and times and places, and then maybe when we go to first reading or when it comes back from the Planning Commission, I would like to see that, including the ones you've already had.
Do my best to remember the ones we already had. That might be hard to reconstruct, but I can certainly keep track of them going forward.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions before I move on to my recommendation? Okay. Members, at this time, I will entertain a motion to recommend adoption of Resolution 28-84 and incorporating any non-substantive revisions, and then I'll get to, I have a motion made by Member Cook. Do I have a second? Second by Chair Lee, and I saw Member Batongon's hand as well. Before we go into voting, if you have any discussion, Member Senensi, go ahead.
Mahalo, Chair. I'll support sending this to the Planning Commission, mainly so that some of the more community members can provide input there. They have an extra chance. But also, Chair, I remember when Paia had those fires, recent fires, and I've experienced you physically shaken about your, you being the council member there, just about your beloved town. And Ms. Rogers brought up Lahaina in her testimony too. So for me, I see an opportunity. We're always looking for more evacuation routes in our small plantation towns, green spaces around them. So I'm hoping my, request is that these things be also part of any development in Paia Town. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Senensi. I really appreciate you saying that. One of our very first meetings, that's exactly what we discussed, which is probably why you see the road to evacuate. There's also internal roads that they didn't discuss today, but that we discussed the very first time I had this conversation, because as you just said, that was my first concern, housing, and for all of us to have the opportunity to escape quickly and safely in the event that we, as you know, experience. So thank you for that. I don't disagree. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. I feel similarly to Member Senensi. I'm okay to move it forward at this time, but we reserve the right to change my mind at any time. I would like to move to add a second condition that the B2 zoning would be limited to comply with the Paia community plan.
Okay. I'm writing that down real quick.
You did B2 for the gym? Oh, and medical. Okay, which is good stuff. Healthy.
Can we hear from the applicant?
Sure, and then I have a motion made by Member Paulton and a second by Member Johnson.
Thank you, and thank you, Chair. totally respect that condition. I think that's an appropriate addition. We'd have to comply with the community plan anyway, but we can put it in there twice.
And he doesn't even have to cross his fingers or cross his heart and hope to die. We don't want crossed fingers, though.
Sorry, I apparently misspoke and said Resolution 2884 because I was looking at 28. Sorry, my dyslexia gets the best of me. But it's actually Resolution 26-84. Do you want to do that amendment? I was going to make the other amendments. Do you want to do that separately and vote on your amendment now, and then we can do the main motion?
Since we're here, I guess.
You want to do? Okay. All those in favor of Member Paulton's amendment to limit the B2 to comply to business country town, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Will you do me a favor? Thank
Chair, we see 7 ayes, no noes, to excuse members Rollins, Fernandez, and Sugimura.
Thank you very much. Members, I will also move to amend the resolution to reflect the revisions proposed by Member Chip Chase in his, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, I always do that. Sorry, Cal. Mr., really, that's such a downgrade at this point. Mr. Chip Chase, to reflect, the first one is the potential for the Heritage Hall, which saw the language, but can you please provide it to staff so they can incorporate it correctly? And then the language change from 100 restricted income units to the 34 workforce housing in compliance with 2.96, and the 16 resident units for the GAP group, making it a total of 50 units. Can I please have, thank you very much. So I have a motion made by Chair Lee and a second by Member Cook. Discussion? Member Paulton.
I'm kind of with you. It hurts to hear more and then get less. But it is what it is. Can you please stop making those kind of mistakes when you come before us, Mr. Chip Chase?
Cross my heart.
No, there we go. Thank you very much. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Chair, there are 7 ayes, no noes, to excuse members Rollins, Fernandez, and Sugimura.
Thank you very much. So members, at this time, if you have any discussion for the main motion, we did hear some. Does anybody have discussion? I have a quick one, if you don't mind, but Member Paulton, I will let you go first.
I would like to see as much effort as possible to not have anyone call the business area a strip mall, to have it be locally owned businesses that don't export the resources that we have locally off Maui. I would like to see a lot more community input, because I don't live in Paia, and I think that you could get to a better place where more of the residents support your project by just listening to them and having simple tweaks. And, we did hear a lot of people that hear from a lot of people that mentioned how many years they've lived here and that they don't want to see Paia double in size. But with that, you have to understand that the people that have been here for generations need places to live. And from some of the legislation at the State House, it does feel like if we don't create that housing for our people here, which is sorely needed, especially in the aftermath of Lahaina, where we lost thousands of housing units, they're more than ready to supersede and take away our rights. So I would much rather create housing that we want to see than have them step in and force us to create housing that we don't want to see. So that would be the reason for my vote today. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Paulton. I feel quite similarly. I think I've talked to you folks about this before, but during COVID, I had the opportunity when there was very little traffic to drive with my grandma while my husband drove and I recorded. And I wanted to get it on record. And she explained to me where everything was in Paia town that you don't see anymore. You know, the memories, her memories, she's 86 years old, 87 years old, pure Hawaiian lady who has lived in Paia her whole life for generations. And she explained where she grew up in Hawaiian Camp, which is near Doris Todd, and, you know, what bakeries there were, what shops there were that really accommodated all the ethnic groups in Paia town, as they were all segregated by ethnicity, but they all played together. Eventually, they all shared each other, which is why I'm no longer 100% Hawaiian, as you can tell. But, you know, her version of Paia, as I was explaining to Member Johnson, was so different than what I experienced. Beyond that, it was actually way bigger. I think somebody said it earlier, it was like one of the biggest towns in the state, in Maui. And when the plantation shut down, a lot of people moved out, and what we have is it was really just the remnants of the Paia town of old, where it extended from our lower Paia all the way up to upper Paia, and which is why, you know, the hospital where the fire was, as Member Sonensi said, was way farther up. That's where my grandma was born. And so the version of Paia we know today is really a scaled down version. And I love that version of Paia, and I'm so happy other people love that version of Paia. It is so special to me, which is why I would like to support this project and support more housing in Paia town so that we can continue, our people can continue to call Paia home. And thank you. We have spent almost all of the committee meeting discussing this. So I'm just going to say for the record, because I didn't say it earlier, but I'm going to codify what Mr. Chipche said, that the 43 affordable units, 34 workforce housing is going to be rental in perpetuity. I don't know if we want to include that in there, but that's what he said. Did you want to make that motion on my behalf?
Sure, and
Okay.
also include free parking for the residential workforce component, and that there will be laundry facilities, whether it's in or out of the units. Just, you know, I know he crossed his heart, but still, he's a lawyer.
Okay, we can add that if that's okay. Gentleman in front of us, are you cool with that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and for the record, Matt's not a lawyer, so.
Okay, he's a planner. He'll be around in 40 years, maybe not in a wheelchair. Okay, I'm gonna take that one first, and then we'll move on to the main motion. So I have a motion made by Member Paulton. Do I have a second? I have a second by Member Johnson to limit the 34 units in perpetuity to provide free parking for those residents as well as laundry facilities. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. 7 ayes, 0 noes. Motion approved. Members, so this is going to be made motion as amended a few times. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Staff?
Chair, there are 7 ayes, no noes. To excuse members Rollins Fernandez and Sugimura. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Members, this will again go to the Planning Commission and go through the gamut of years of continuous entitlements. I'm going to give us a 1-minute break. Please don't move. I'm just going to let them excuse themselves as we move on to the next item of the on the agenda. It is 11:38 a.m. and I'm going to take a 2-minute recess to return at 11:40 for the next item. Thank you. Aloha again, members. It is 11:46, and will the HLU committee please reconvene? Real quick before we begin the next item, we do have 2 more items on the agenda, but my plan is to defer the last one. But we will take testimony on that item. I do have an ASF, just FYI. So we're going to do this next item on the agenda, which is Resolution 26-68, to refer to all 3 planning commissions a proposed bill to require the subdivider of an agricultural lot to provide notice to lessees of the lot or portion of the lot to the subdivider's intent to subdivide. I'm going to begin with Member Paulton, if you wanted to do opening remarks, and then go over to Director Takakura. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Quickly, this issue came up when I was meeting with the Maui Gold folks that let me know that they were not made aware of Maui Land and Pine's intention to create an agricultural subdivision because it's a ministerial permit and there's no like public input process, and their lease for that same land I think lasts through 2040, and they just happened to come across it that like infrastructure for the ag subdivision might be going in next year, and I was like, well, that's not good. And so it's just a disclosure kind of bill, so this doesn't happen to other farmers that may be like, you know, how junk would it be if you just invest a lot of money in like your irrigation or something and nobody told you that there's an intent to do an agricultural subdivision, and next thing you know you're booted. So it's just a disclosure bill at this point. I have had some requests to do other things, but this is where we're starting.
Thank you, Member Paulton. Planning, did you have any comments you wanted to add?
Yes, thank you, Chair U'uhajens.
Yes, thank you.
First of all, subdivisions are part of Title 18, which is administered by Department of Public Works. I defer to that department. However, in my brief review, it does not look like the subdivision process is discretionary or requires public hearing. My comments are more in the form of questions, just to help us understand. The first one being, what is the purpose and intent of the proposed language, and what are the issues or potential issues with an agricultural subdivision that the County of Maui is concerned with resolving? Secondly, if a subdivision action is legal and permissible, what does the notifying the neighbors do? What is the outcome or the goal? Just a precaution is that large landowners who are aware or are required to provide notice, they may decide it's not worth the risk and legal issues. This could have a negative impact on agricultural use and production. Another thing is, you know, what is the issue? Again, going back to the first question, is it the use or is it the subdivision? Because if someone is subdividing simply for farming purposes and not building anything, you know, is that a problem? And a lot of times with subdivisions, the use at that time isn't changing. The use would come later. And if a use is allowed, you know, those are all just kind of ministerial processes. As I mentioned again, those subdivision applications are received, accepted for review, and processed by the subdivision office within Public Works, not the planning department. We really should be consulting with that department on how this would be best administered. And again, it's an administrative process. Even if a notice were to go out to neighbors or whoever, it's still administrative, provided the proposed subdivision meets the criteria. It can be approved, I believe, but again, I defer to Public Works. Many times when a subdivision comes in, no actual work is proposed. Lot lines are changing on a map, but oftentimes there's no associated physical work. There could be associated infrastructure improvements with subdivisions, such as water, sewer, utilities, curbs, and so forth, but many times it's simply to change the lines on the map. So in summary, just trying to get to the purpose and intent, what would be the outcome if this happens, and then we really need to include Public Works in this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. We tried. They're not here, but we will send them the bill and ask for their comments before, hopefully, first reading. But for right now, thank you for your input. Members, I'm calling everybody members today. Staff, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Chair. Our first testifier is Ke Aupuni ko Hawaii Pai'aina. However, they're not logged onto the meeting right now. And so the following testifier is Alan Lloyd.
Okay, Mr. Lloyd. Yeah, I still see his hand up. Mr. Lloyd, it's your opportunity to testify if you can hear us. There we go. I saw your hand go down. Oh, there you are again. Is he promoted or whatever we call it?
Yes,
he can
Chair.
Turn off his camera.
Alan has been promoted, so he may just need to go in the top right-hand corner. You'll see a camera and mic icon, and if there's a line through them, you'll have to click on that to unmute. Oh, looks like you got it.
Oh, perfect. Aloha, Mr. Lloyd.
Aloha. Yes, I'm wanting to testify about Resolution 2684 as well as Bill 78. So I just want to make sure this is the time to testify on those.
We did 84, but you're welcome to testify. Oh, actually, we're on the item of 68, so we can take testimony on that. And then when we go to the next item, you're welcome to share testimony on that, which is what I think you're hoping to testify on.
Yeah, Bill 78, and it sounds like you've already done Resolution 26-84.
We have.
Okay. Will you have time for Bill 78 today?
We're most likely going to defer it. My plan, because we only have 7 minutes left in this committee, we're probably going to hear it again on June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, then that's it for until Bill 78. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye, Mr. Lloyd. Next testifier, please.
Bye.
Chair, the next testifier is Bill Curtis. However, I also do not see him on the meeting.
Okay.
So that means there's no one else who has signed up. If you'd like me to do a last call.
Please do.
If somebody would like to testify in the chamber, please let staff know, or on Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand. This is final call. 3, 2, 1. Chair, it appears that nobody wishes to testify.
Thank you. Members, seeing there are no individuals wishing to testify, without objection, I would now close oral testimony. Thank you. And as a reminder, written testimony will continue to be accepted. We're going to go again with a 3-minute discussion, but I will warn you, we only have 6 minutes left in this committee. So I hope everybody is read and prepared. And if you have any questions, Shirley, did you have a question?
No, I'm ready for a discussion.
Okay. Any other questions do we have regarding this bill? Okay, cool. Love this for us. Well then, in order to go into discussion, members, I will entertain a motion to recommend adoption of Resolution 26-68, incorporating any non-substantive revisions.
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Member Paulton and second by Member Johnson, and discussion by Chair Lee.
Thank you. I'll be voting no on this one because I don't think that we'll have a reasonable amount of time to discuss this. 5 minutes is not enough. And as the planning director said, we should have input from the director of public works. I'd like to know from him what potential impacts are going to be, especially for subdivisions that don't require any buildings, like if it's for sewer lines or water lines or just for other reasons other than building. I don't think that notices should be required to all the neighbors and so forth. And that's my reason. Thank you.
Member Paulton?
Thank you. I hope that I would have answered Ms. Takakura's questions with my opening. It's already happened to Maui Gold Day, and times are hard for farmers. If they're going to make a significant investment and there is going to be a luxury agricultural subdivision planning to put in infrastructure, it would be good that they know so that they don't make a significant investment that would otherwise be like, hey, your lease is up, get out. So it's just a notice to people to know how to move forward with their farming efforts. And we've already seen
a situation where people weren't told, and they luckily found out through looking at paperwork. So it's already happened, and that's what we want to try and prevent in the future. Simple notice to. It would have been nice if they were told, but it's come to this.
Thank you. I did have a couple questions, but I will reserve, and I'll go to Member Johnson since you seconded the motion, and then I'll go to you, Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. I support this information being shared with the farmers and folks around them. Just for example, last year I put in a row of fruit trees. It cost $300 just for one row. I'm not going to get a return on that investment per se until those fruit trees begin to fruit in 5 years. So much can happen within those 5 years. And if all of a sudden there was a water line getting dug, then that's going to affect those trees' production. It's going to affect where the rows and everything. So it would be helpful to know what the plans would be and what the intentions would be, so that way I could plan my farm plan accordingly. So I rise in full support. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Member Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. I guess I'm trying to connect the proposed solution with solving the problem that Member Paulton described, which inspired this bill. Can you confirm? So the plans were made, a subdivision was then pursued or completed, and the leasing didn't know. Is that correct?
Correct. They found out through other means, I guess whatever paperwork they one of the people saw, and then they're like, oh, we thought our lease was good till 2040, but in this paperwork that we see, it's going to become an agricultural subdivision. They plan to input infrastructure in like 2027 or something, and that was after like the pineapple plantations on West Side got shut down. They made such a big deal about Maui Gold, and even at the Weir they did pineapple tours, and so it's an industry. Maui, I guess, grew pineapples, and so like Member Johnson said, it's hard to plan out the next till 2040 of your lease if you don't have this information. To me, it would be common courtesy to let your lessee know.
And I would agree. I would also hope that the lease would allow for people to make long-term plans. I guess I question whether or not the 10 business day notice would be enough to be able to help them recoup the cost, right? So say Member Johnson planted trees in a property, you give him 10 days notice, like what's he gonna do with the trees in that time? So connecting the policy issue the issue that we're trying to solve with the policy prescription that's being proposed, I still don't know if that solves the issue we're trying to get at here.
Yeah,
and then
I would say it doesn't, but it's earlier noticed in that,
then
like,
not being noticed, correct?
yeah, like the only reason they know is because they stumbled upon these documents. So if they never stumbled upon the documents,
They would never know that
yeah, and so like it's not necessary. Like maybe they did just make significant investment, but if they did not, it would be like, whoa, we got to reconsider our business, our farm plan or whatever. So it's not a perfect solution, but it's better than the way it is right now.
where there's no notice being required.
Yeah, because what if they didn't stumble upon these documents and they come in and do the infrastructure and they're like, we just planned it, and it's earlier notice than no notice.
Okay. And then I also share some concerns with not hearing from the department who's responsible for overseeing this. I'm not saying I'm opposed to the legislation. I just am probably more with Chair Lee in that I would want more information before taking action on it, so that we're not trying to take action on the floor in case the department comes back with concerns.
Yes, and I did hear Chair Uhajan say they were invited, so that's kind of what happens when you don't come and speak your piece when you're invited.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you, Pao? Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
let Public Works know that this was your intention? Did you give them a heads up to, like, before this was scheduled? Because I know we had this in first reading and then it was sent to committee.
I did reach out to Public Works when it was brought to my attention what happened to the Maui Gold folks,
Yeah.
and they said this is the way it is.
Okay.
And then I said there's no requirement to like let the people know who are farming on it, and they're like no, and so to me this is the logical next step.
Okay. And then we'll follow up with Public Works, and I would like to hear back from them as well before we do first reading if this passes.
Yeah.
Member
So,
Batangan.
Chair, can I ask that we transmit a request for comment from the department
Yeah.
since they declined to
Sure.
come to the committee hearing?
Love that. Yes, we will definitely do that, but thank you for requesting it. Any other discussion? Member Cook?
I'm curious, you said the lease was up in 2040?
I think that's what they said. Don't quote me, but it
Well,
was
I
a
guess-
number of years.
Yeah, within
in
the
future.
context, if you're farming or you're doing a business and you're making an investment, you need to know like how long you're going to have. I'm assuming, and maybe I'm incorrect, but if you have a lease till 2040, they can't implement any changes during that time. You have a lease, and it depends upon the structure of your lease. But basically, if I'm leasing property from you for till 2040 as a pasture, then I have those rights until then. And maybe Corp
From
Counsel-
talking
maybe-
to,
maybe Corp Counsel can weigh in.
It's hard to say without seeing the lease in front of me. Some have termination clauses. I would have to know the specifics of this to weigh in on it. But there could be ways that it could be ended before 2040. I just don't know the specifics.
So when I spoke with the Maui Gold folks, part of the issue is they're the landlord, they're the water provider, they're all the things, and like they mentioned, the water fee going up significantly, like they're trying to be squeezed out. I don't know the specifics of the lease, except that they weren't required in the lease to be notified. But to me, this is a little bit Pilau style. You know, if you can do this ministerially, you're gonna do it. Why not give the farmer a heads up? You know, like I said, common courtesy, whether your lease is up or not. I think they had an expectation, since the Maui Gold is like, you know, a signature thing, that they could renew the lease, that they could keep going, because they felt like, you know, Maui land and pineapple would be supportive of them growing pineapples on Maui, but apparently other things are more lucrative.
Any other questions? I do have a couple questions, but go ahead.
Sorry.
Vice Chair Batangan. Okay. Corporation Counsel Nahulu, do you guys have any problem with this? Because it's not signed by you folks.
Excuse me, Chair. The resolution is signed by Corporation Counsel.
Oh, okay. Just not the bill that I have in front of me.
So the bill is not, the reso is.
Okay. And that's fine for you folks?
Yeah, we're fine with the reso.
Okay.
And like
Oh, yeah,
has been
see that.
discussed before, we would like to hear Public Works comments.
Sure.
But we're fine with the reso itself.
Okay. Did you want to hear from Public Works now? No.
Oh.
I mean,
Then
we
no.
could, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Like, usually I don't get the bill signed because I figure as it goes to the Planning Commission, it might get changed, and then come here, it might get changed. And I know Corp Counsel is a little bit overtaxed on some things, and I don't want to like hold up time-sensitive stuff by things that might get changed, and then they have to redo it. So that was my thinking. We're just at the transmitting the reso to the Planning Commission stage, and this is, I feel like, not as big a deal as creating a whole town and changing zoning. So I figured no sense take up their time unnecessarily, prematurely.
Okay. Thank you. Vice Chair Batangan.
Thank you, Chair. Member Paulton, can I ask what the thinking was for requiring notification before filing the application rather than the filing of the application itself being the trigger?
Yeah, like you said, if they just plan it, I'm just trying to give them as much time leeway in advance of any decisions they might make. We don't know when they're going to choose to make a significant infrastructure, so just giving additional time is what it is. Or, like the situation in the agenda item before, when two parties come together and talk, maybe they can create a solution that neither one of them thought of on their own. Like, I want to come and do this. And then they're like, well, I'm going to just plant right here. What if you do this? Would that work? That kind of thing.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And so, Member Paulton, and I guess Corp Counsel too, if there are no leases of the ag lot, then they don't have anybody to send it to. And then the subdivision for an ag parcel would proceed as normal. Because this is, take MLP out of the situation, but this is for future because they already went through them. And if there's no leases, then they wouldn't need to let anybody know.
Well, that's one thing that probably should be defined more as this goes through the process. Right now, it just says send notice by reasonable means, but it doesn't have the same triggers that have other requirements for public notice. So we'd want to define what sufficient public notice is and who it would be getting sent to before it goes to second reading.
Okay, you're going to work with Public Works on that. Would we have something similar to what we have for like an SMA where it's a 500-foot ratio from the parcel?
That could be one way, but that's more a policy decision. It would be up to you folks and maybe Public Works input.
In drafting the reso, my thinking was like, a media release would cover it. I didn't want to make it be like expensive for the subdivider.
Okay.
Like, and I didn't want to say newspaper because we know like how newspapers go.
Okay.
So like, just a little blurb in media of their choice, or if they have lessees, like a letter to their lessees would work for me. It's just, being courteous to people's efforts and money and plans and future is the goal here.
Did you want to make a consideration if it was a family subdivision?
I mean, we have nice families, not everybody does. So it would be good to just make sure everyone knows about things.
Okay. And then you have notice by mail. Did you want to say certified mail?
Sure. I'll take that.
Okay. I'm happy to support this now because this is just going to the Planning Commission right now. Take MLP aside, it is a courtesy heads up to leasees. I don't think, and Corp Counsel didn't say I'm correct, but I'm just going to infer that I'm correct. You wouldn't have anybody to notify if the parcels are not, or the parcel before subdivision is not being leased out.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of this. Like,
right.
It's courtesy and investment and time and like that.
Okay. Thank you. So the certified mail, is that a friendly amendment? Because we already have a motion on the floor.
Chair, I think we could accept that as a friendly amendment as long as the,
Okay,
the motion maker, Councilmember Paulton, and is okay with that.
Okay. We're going to do a roll call. Does anybody else have any other discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Chair, proceeding with a roll call vote. Councilmember Senensi?
Aye.
Council Chair Lee?
No.
Councilmember Cook?
Aye for now.
Councilmember Rollins Fernandez?
Excused.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Paulton?
Aye.
Councilmember Sugimura, excused.
Councilmember Batangan?
Nay.
And Committee Chair Uhajins?
Aye.
Chair, that is 5 ayes, 2 noes, 2 excused. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, members. Real quick, we're going to do the last thing on the agenda. My plan is to defer it, but I have to do some of this language, and we're going to distribute in ASF, take testimony if necessary, but I plan to hear it on the June 3rd agenda, which will be my husband's present because that's our anniversary. Thank you. The ASF is being passed out right now. So members, this is the last item on the agenda. It is Bill 78, 2026, which would allow at least 2 accessory dwellings units for residential use on residentially zoned lots consistent with state law. This bill was referred to the Planning Commission last year. The council did not receive the commission's report within the 120-day period following the bill's referral, so the bill was referred to this committee without the report. Since then, the report has been submitted and it is in our committee files, and I believe that's what's being distributed today. We did request Captain Voss. Is he here today? Okay. I'm sorry, planning is, thank you for being with us all day, but they are here as well. I'm not too sure if you want to save opening comments for the next time we have this item in our committee, or if you had anything you would like to say quickly before I move on to testimony.
Thank you, Chair. So we will save our presentation for the next meeting. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much, and thanks for being with us today. And we'll see you again on June 3rd. So at this time, then, I will ask if we have any testifiers on this item.
Chair, yes, we do have Alan Lloyd signed up to testify.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Lloyd.
Alan, we have, oh, there, looks like you have yourself unmuted.
Okay, so we're talking about Bill 78, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. Okay, my name is Alan Lloyd. I'm a candidate for Maui County Council. I'd like to testify on, I live in Wailuku. I'd like to testify on Bill 78. I support changing the wording to up to 2 accessory dwelling units as in HRS 46-48. And please take out the wording at least 2 accessory dwelling units. My second point is, will there be a ceiling on the rents on the 207 units, of which will be, I assume, residential rents? If there are rentals, will the rentals be based on the affordable rent guidelines? And my third point is, will there be an EIS required or done on this? Thank you.
Thank you. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. I just wanted to clarify what you said. You said you want to take out the wording at least 2?
State law says, so HRS 46-48 says that the wording should be, that the wording is in authorizing the counties up to 2 accessory dwelling units, not at least 2 accessory dwelling units.
Oh, okay, so you wanted to say up to 2 instead of at least 2.
Yes, and I think that's, staff is also recommending that.
Oh, okay. I don't know the answer to your other 2 questions, but I'm assuming they're no. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions, clarifying questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Lloyd, for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Thank you.
Chair, there is currently no one else who has signed up to testify. Would you like me to do a last call? If somebody would like to testify in the chamber, please let staff know, or on Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand. This is final call. 3, 2, 1. Chair, it appears that nobody wishes to testify.
Thank you, members. Seeing there are no individuals wishing to testify, I will now close oral testimony for this item. Thank you, and as a reminder, written testimony will continue to be accepted. Members, if there are no objections, I would now like to defer this item.
Chair,
Go
before
ahead.
you do.
Yes.
So before this meeting, I reached out to the Director of Housing to see if they had been aware of this or had any comments on it. I think this is the second time when that a bill has come up which impacts housing, but because it's related to Title 19, only the Department of Planning has been notified about this. Can I ask that this bill be transmitted to the Department of Housing and ask for their comments?
Absolutely.
You know, I recognize that this is in reaction to HRS, that's requiring the county to adopt an ordinance to this effect. But I think we should start getting into the habit of consulting with our new Department
Sounds
of
good.
Housing whenever matters relating to housing are coming up, not just planning.
Sounds good.
Thank
Will
you,
do.
Chair.
Do you want them to come to our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah,
We'll
I
send
would
them-
also like the written comments first.
Sounds great. We'll do both. Member Paulton.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify what you handed out. The one with blue is a Ramsier of what's posted, and the one without blue is a clean copy? Is that what it
Good
is?
question. Can we ask? I didn't even have an opportunity to kind of review this.
I think the second version is a track changes version, not a Ramsar version.
What is the
Changes to the
difference
code
between the
itself are-
green and
have-
the blue coloring?
I think the members can disregard the color. It's
Oh.
just reflective of a change.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. Maybe
Okay.
somebody was colorblind.
Or that probably means two different staff were working on it,
Oh,
and they had different
All hands
accounts.
on deck.
Yeah.
that's above my pay grade.
Anything else before I defer? Planning, do you have anything else to add before we defer?
We did do a lot of agency comment and did reach out to multiple departments in the county, but we'll follow up and solicit a response. Thank you.
Thank you. So I did reach out, and the response I got from Director Mitchell was that he was not aware of this bill and did not have a chance to review it, so he would refrain from commenting.
Okay. Chair Lee.
Question for Ms. Takakura. Do you folks have somebody who tracks state legislation for all the departments?
Thank you for the question, Chair Lee. We have our administrative planning officer who's in the audience, Greg Post, who does track the planning and land use related legislation. And then we work closely with the mayor's office on general other legislation that comes up and that could be related to us.
Okay, so when you come across housing legislation, do you share it with the housing department?
In terms of state legislation?
Yeah.
I think the mayor's office probably does because they work with all the departments. Ours are, we mainly look at the land use ones.
Okay, just checking
Yeah.
because, you know, all of us keep track of all these major acts that are passed, bills that are passed.
Yeah, and just a comment on that, I noticed there was one about inclusionary zoning, and Director Mitchell had some very strong comments about that one, that it affected both his department and our department. So I know that they are watching bills too. There's a little bit of overlap for housing and land use, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, any other discussion or requests for the next time we discuss this in the committee on the 3rd? Nope. Seeing none, if there are no objections, I would like to defer this item. I will defer this item. Okay, deferred. All right, let's go to the end. Members, thank you very much for spending all morning with me. It is 12:20, and this HLU committee is adjourned.